Good evening, all, and welcome to DnDTime Tales. I'm going to be your dungeon master this evening, Pete, and I'm excited to get right into it. Sorry about the short delay there. Twitch was having some issues, which fortunately were resolved quicker than I was worried they might. Seems like the kind of thing that could have just been like, oh, 3 hours later, it's fixed. But we're here now, and only 15 minutes late. It's not too bad. We're going to be getting into it soon. How are all you guys?
I'm doing great. I'm a little tired, but I'm very excited.
I am excited as well. I think things are going to start popping off today, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what you guys do. So since we're a little bit behind, I want to start getting right into it. So let's do our usual pregame ritual, which is let's talk to everyone. James, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's the usual. Fred's Franks is still kicking. We're keep making dogs until the snow comes and drags us away.
Amen.
That's yeah.
Always. I was about to say always flipping Franks, but I guess you don't really flip Franks.
Actually, I have been taken to actually flipping the dogs with the tongs as I'm taking them out of the bag and then putting them on the grill.
That sounds like an advanced technique.
A little extra flair. Oh yeah, no. Some people come. They're like, "Whoa, how did you do that?" I'm like, "It's all on the wrist."
James, if hot dogs are a class, what level hot dogs are you?
I would say that I am at least a level 4 grill master. All right.
I was going to give you more credit than that.
Yeah, I was going to give you more credit than that.
James, you got your subclass in grill master at level 3. You were just a food preparation guy up until you got that subclass.
I mean, I do have I
was going to give you level like 12.
Right? Like, I have a very, I guess,
you're multi-class?
I have some multi-class levels in there, yeah. But no, I would say my actual main class I would describe as meatsman. All right. For
that's
that
true.
type,
you also have
level 12
some multi-classing into butchery.
Exactly. Right. I have.
Well, that's a feature of the meatsman class, I think.
Some butchery experience. Oh yeah, no, like I'm dabbling all around from production of meat to consumption of meat. I'm going the whole spectrum.
Well, you definitely have some like at least one level in saucier, right?
In what?
Because in saucier, you make the sauce for the
oh
shrimp.
yeah, no, I do.
At least one level.
I do mix the sriracha baba sauce. It's sriracha, barbecue, and proprietary secrets. I also make the sweet cabbage.
Is the proprietary secret that there's nothing else other than sriracha and barbecue in the sauce?
You can't ask that question.
I will tell you right now, there are multiple proprietary secrets.
All right.
That's
Proportions is one proprietary secret.
Well, one proprietary secret I'd like you to share with me, James, is something about Speck Speechly that I don't already know. Is the other segment that we think with you do every week is we learn one interesting fact about all of your characters, and now you're on the spot, James, for yours.
One more thing about Speck Speechly. You don't already know. I would say one thing you don't know about Speck Speech. Oh, right. I already mentioned his lost love. And another thing you don't know about Speck Speechly is that he actually does have, a sense of compassion for the people who work under him. Except he does not tolerate egregious failure. Right?
Incompetence in any form is unacceptable.
Incompetence is unacceptable for certain. But make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yes, indeed. A famous Speck Speechly line.
Has a one-strike policy. All right.
That's a harsh policy. But,
or rather, two strikes, I guess.
I feel like you don't get into the Black Hand without having a one-strike policy.
Yeah.
Very good. James, thank you for coming tonight. I'm excited to get into the thing. But first, we're also going to talk to Crowley. Hello, Crowley.
Hi.
To continue on the previous theme, Crowley, what's your class in real life, and how high level are you?
Oh God, I don't know. Not very high, whatever it is. Low
Fair
level.
enough. You're
I mean, I work in medical equipment, but
level
it's all office work.
level 6.
Level 6 clerk.
Level 6 clerk, fair enough.
Yeah, that's yep.
How you doing, Crowley?
I'm alright. I've been playing Pokemon Go.
At some point, there's gonna just have to be some Pokemon themed,
Yeah.
like I don't know what the Pokemon theme thing is. I guess we did one of those in DnDTime, but just like a day where we talk about Pokemon only, because I feel like we've spent so much time in these intros talking about Pokemon.
The other thing I've been playing is Borderlands 3.
Oh,
I wish to do this, but I do not own it yet, and I probably don't have time because I got so many games to play.
So let me tell you a bit about Borderlands 3.
Is
So
it good?
far, story-wise, good. General mechanics, same solid Borderlands mechanics. Bit buggy.
A little bit buggy.
A little bit
Oh,
buggy,
no.
a little bit performance-wise, it can be a little rough at times too. So those are the two big complaints I've got about it right now. There are some definitely performance issues and quality control issues.
But for the most part, like the gameplay and the story, pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Borderlands
Borderlands we know and love.
Now, tell me about Crickets' gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
What is in the patch notes for Crickets? What don't I know already about Crickets?
What don't you know about crickets?
Yeah.
So it's less about crickets directly and crickets handlers.
Ooh.
Crickets doesn't know what their position in the church is. He knows they're high up. He knows as far as he's aware, they're higher than him, but they're not eyes and they're not hand.
Oh.
They're something else entirely, and he's not sure. And he's not sure what.
Uh,
And he's been trying to figure it out.
no, I have a question, Crowley. Do you have a thing in mind?
I've got some thoughts.
Oh, okay. We'll have to talk about this in dark rooms, undisclosed to anyone.
Yeah.
Afterwards, but for now, Crickets is perhaps a little bit suspicious of your, or not even suspicious, just curious about investigating the church and understanding its hierarchy more.
There's that, and Crickets is suspicious of the eye.
Well, yeah,
That's
that's
here.
fair.
I think Crickets. I guess here's a second thing. Here's another.
Two for one.
About his relationship with the church. He believes that part of the hand's duty is to monitor the eyes.
Sort of.
He believes that like where the eyes are like the missionaries almost or priests and stuff, the hand is the Inquisition.
Who watches
and
the
he-
Watchmen? And the answer is you.
Yes. Like the eyes are not. While Erdon, of course, is infallible in his designs and his choices to make eyes out of the people he does, the eyes themselves can fall from his grace and make mistakes or do things that end up being against the church.
For Erdon has chosen that people should have free will, so naturally it's possible that they might use it poorly.
Yes,
Has he?
exactly.
I feel like he hasn't.
you can't bind people in chains if they don't have free will. Okay.
Exactly.
Fair.
While you're on this world, you are free to do as you see fit within the confines of Erdon's domain.
And Erdon lends a guiding hand in places. You guys, I guess, being that. But
That's us, the guiding hand.
excellent. Crickets, good to see you. Crowley, good to see you. Danger Owl 5 Bacon, or as I like to call him, Kyle.
Every fucking time. I'm never gonna get away from it.
I mean, it's like Deadmau 5. I'm never gonna not call him that.
So like I tried to get away from it too, even with my Pokemon Go tag, and it's someone already had Dangerous Bacon where the S was an S. I was like, son of a bitch.
You could have gone with Dangerous with a Z.
I don't think so.
Can I ask why Dangerous Bacon? Where did it?
Have you ever okay, so I did get this question a lot, like when I first made my gamer tag, because that was my I think that's my gamer tag on literally everything now. Was God, what was it? I was fucking around with one of my buddies in high school on Modern Warfare 2, and I made a gamer tag, and we were just bored. And I was like, "Dangerous bacon." He's like, "How's bacon dangerous? Like, you ever cook bacon with the shirt off? Shit's dangerous."
I kind of expected it would go this direction.
It was a more practical reason than I thought.
Yeah.
Shit's dangerous, man. Don't do it.
I guess that's true. Bacon is dangerous in a lot of ways. You know who else is
Yeah.
dangerous? Actually, Kyle, I forgot to
Ghost?
ask you a very important. Well, that's true. But before I talk about Ghost, just how are you doing, Kyle? How are you?
I'm good,
How's
man.
Kyle?
I'm
Okay,
good, man.
good.
I'm getting frustrated with this football game, but
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
it is going to happen in sports.
Patriots won 43-0. I'd just like to point out.
Yeah, they faced the worst team in the league.
That's true, but it was an absolute dunk.
They didn't lose as hard as they did to Baltimore last week. I mean, 49 or 51 nothing.
Oh my
Like it was
God.
disgusting. Oh my god, it was so
Miami's
bad.
having a rough time.
They're tanking
Kyle-
hard.
Yeah. Ghost.
Sports.
Sports. Sorry, I like sports, and I don't care who knows.
How's Ghost? What's new with Ghost? Tell me about him. Tell me a thing I don't know.
Ghost.
Yeah.
A thing you don't know. He is the heir to a very high-ranking family in the clan that he comes from.
There it is. Ghost is a noble, in
Yeah,
a sense.
in a sense.
Or I guess not.
There's no real like nobles,
nobility
it's
is
just-
different, kind
yeah.
of amongst I imagine, amongst the
Yeah.
elves, but you are, important in a sense. Or I mean, you were, but you're not that person. You're Ghost.
Yeah, I'm Ghost.
Yeah, he's important now.
You're more important now.
Depending in Erdon's eyes, definitely.
And also, you're probably having more direct influence on the shaping of the world. Anyway, Ghost, welcome back. Kyle,
Yeah.
welcome back. I love you. And next we have, you know him. He's famous all throughout the land. It's Jeremy, aka TrustAFlumph, aka Von Paz. Hey,
Hello,
Jeremy.
everybody. Hey, Pete. How you doing, bud?
I'm good.
Wait, you should be asking me the question. You go first.
No, I'm doing good. Well, Jeremy, thank you for asking me. How are you?
Pete, I'm doing great. I went out all day. I played a lot of Pokemon Go. I caught a lot of turtles. I was really worried. There were turtles in the streets. It's dangerous. But, we caught all the turtles, and it was good.
Were they looking for pizza?
They were looking for pizza, Kyle. These poor
Yes.
turtles just needed some pizza.
Do you want to tell people about your ultimate Pokemon? Because it seems like you have.
I got myself 100% IV shiny Turtwig.
I can't fully wrap my head around it.
And yes, Cold Spark's asking if I was feeling better than I was on Friday. I'm feeling a lot better, Cold Spark. I might seem tired right now, but that's because I just woke up from a nap about 45 minutes before we jumped on here. I'm feeling very good right now.
Are you like a nap revitalizes you guy or a nap drains you kind of guy? Because naps completely mess me up.
Depends on the nap. This nap was very neutral. I don't have like bad naps. Naps never kill me. But this was a very
either good or
neutral
does nothing.
nap. Yeah, and this was a neutral nap. And it was a neutral nap because my cat kept jumping on top of me because he wanted to, I don't know, he wanted to like curl up and sit down, but then he would decide, no, I want to sit over here now. And so he just kind of jump over all over the place. He was a pain in the ass.
Jeremy, can you tell me something new about Von Paz?
Yeah, I think, and maybe this little factoid is a little. I think this little factoid informs the world's current state of medicine. Actually, it's part of it's a world building.
Ooh.
I love that kind of fact.
Yeah, and that is when Von Paz was a child living in the city of Wind and Sound. His brother was incredibly ill, and Von Paz had to they took one of his kidneys to keep his brother alive.
Oh man.
Ooh.
So Von Paz probably still has
surgery.
a pretty
He's got
good
a bad scar. Yeah.
Still probably has a pretty bad scar. Yeah.
Which, of course, at the time maybe it was freely get. It's kind of weird because he was a kid. which is weird. Why you took a kid's kid? I guess you can't put a regular person-sized kidney in a child.
Yeah.
Well, there it is, folks.
Sure as hell try.
Yeah.
So,
no.
without
dear.
further ado, we'll get into that. We'll see if that
Yikes.
happens, something that happens in this world, as we dive into tonight's game.
How
And
much can I sell a kidney for?
Oh no!
a pretty good amount of iron, probably a lot of gold. So, last time we played here in Galehaven, would any of you like to talk about what happened for a point of inspiration?
I'd love to.
Yes, Von Paz. Tell us what went down last time.
So last time on the Black Hand, we regrouped after our assassination of the crime lord Molissimo, who used to trade in protection, namely thugs and things like that. And we discussed how that went down in our general approach. We went to the Church of Urdon, which I believe we've called the Iron Cathedral. Maybe I'm mistaken there, Pete. Correct me if I'm wrong. And informed.
I don't think we had, but I like it.
Yeah, I
we
think it's an
informed the
acceptable
eye.
way to refer to it.
Yeah, we informed the Eye of all of those things, that how that went down, what happened, who had seen us, and that the people weren't really necessarily familiar with our or aware of our affiliations as of yet. We made some great lengths to be discreet about coming back, including staying at Speck Speechley's mill / printing building thing. We then went out and acquired some magical items and other gear, and had a brief tour of the city. We met with a woman who we were going to purchase magic items from, who I think her name is... I don't know. I don't actually have her name written down. I hope she's not dead.
It was Margaret.
Margaret. I
Margaret
do have her name
Cadence.
written down. Yep. Lady Margaret Cadence. That's why I had lady in front. And she promised to procure us some magic items in exchange for a lot of our money. We then went to look at, and we also learned of a couple of potential targets from the Eye. We were in the cathedral. They are Gabri de Barcarolle, the sister of Lady Venta de Barcarolle, who we need to kill. Or we need to really just destroy her history. her image.
Obliterate.
Yeah, we need to obliterate. Like, we can't just kill her and murder her. We got to obliterate her. So her sister, Gabri de Barcarolle, is a famed anti-pirate that has a very brazen attitude and is kind of a swashbuckler of sorts. Then we also have to deal with Alistair Smitten, who is the relative, probably like son or maybe grandson, even, who knows, of the famed Armando Smitten, a wingineer who made a lot of things that are in Gusthaven or Galehaven, Gusthaven from World of Warcraft, Galehaven possible. And he's working on something really big and fancy for the Barcarolle Armada, or merchant.
And the Lady Barcarolle's husband is also worth noting.
Yes, and I was going to say that, and that is in the notes. And then the last one is Roman Pizzicato, a preacher who is known for bridging the gaps between the commoners and the Duchess's ideals of freedom, and to this point, undisclosed as to their relation, relative of Von Paz.
And that's a thing that Von Paz, I think that you would know that this is your cousin. A little
Maybe
bit
it was
older
Mike.
than you.
Yeah.
He was a little bit older than you.
Excellent.
But not much. He was around the same age frame. And, you were the reason that
Von
you
Paz
were
is not a young guy.
Yeah, he was kind of out of the direct kind of family lineage, and he was not going to inherit anything within the Pizzicato family name, and was therefore, not the one that was forced to kind of try in front of the emperor when you were kind of brought to the city. He avoided some of the harsher
The brutality.
the brutality, although certainly still was subjected to a lot of your family being killed in the invasion and things of that nature. But
And yeah, I think that is about it. We left off beneath, kind of on the city streets by the dock, adjacent to the workshop of Alistair Smitten, a big old warehouse with a particular galeway or a set of rails, right, for the wind-powered ships that connect specifically to it.
indeed,
From
and I think that's
100
the
feet
same.
high?
200.
200, yeah.
Yeah, very, very tall.
Wow.
At its highest point, it doesn't start there, obviously.
Yeah.
But at its highest point, it goes up to that area because it runs just for tests above the rest of them. There's no traffic on it. There's no basically just transport this one dude and new things when they need to try them out. So you all do stand on that street outside of the warehouse. You've purchased. You did a lot of purchasing and kind of getting things together. But yeah, it's getting near to later in the day. I'd say at this point it's maybe 5 p.m. You're starting to see the sun moving down into the sky. What do you all want to do as we hop in tonight?
Well, I think we were going to go over our plans for all these targets.
We should
Yes.
probably do that in private.
Jeremy, you're muted.
Whoopsies. Well, first things first, we need to go somewhere that's a little bit more discreet.
Like I said,
Vaughn,
in private.
Vaughn eyes just one of the taller looking buildings nearby.
What were you particularly looking for there? Just like a
Vaughn,
place to
Well, I'm looking at one of the probably the tallest building that comes anywhere near that private rail at this point.
There are buildings where the tops of the buildings don't reach on any of them, but the windmills that are kind of stacked on top of the buildings, some of those are in the same height range as the safety the test rail.
And Vaughn says, could be beneficial for us to maybe get a better vantage.
There are also some rooftops where it looks like some of the supports for the test rails kind of reach down and lean and rest on rooftops of some of the taller buildings as well.
For anyone with reasonable insight, you can probably see that Vaughn's looking more toward that than toward the building.
Yep. Sounds good to me. To the building.
All right. So you want to you find one that looks to be more commercial in nature rather than residential, something a little bit easier to just kind of go up and get to the top of as you're trying to essentially climb onto the roof of this thing, right?
I was thinking of residential one.
Oh, you would prefer something like that?
Are these posh residences, or
Some of
what's
a lot
the
of them are.
quality of this kind of?
This
thing,
is one
especially
of
the taller buildings.
Yeah, you are not quite right on the edge. The edge of the water is where the tallest buildings are, and where kind of the most extravagant ones are as well. The safety rail goes up towards some of those. You know that it ends relatively close to the Barcarolle home, which is kind of how he basically takes this rail to work. He's brings this uses this test rail as a way to get quickly to his warehouse and back. And so over closer to the place where it lets off away from the warehouse, on the other side of it, it's near some pretty posh buildings. This is more of a working district, so nothing is as extravagant around here. It's more upper middle class, lower upper class, not the real elite of the city, unless you want to go down that way where the safety rail more ends at that spot.
this is great.
Are there any buildings that look like they are not currently inhabited?
Everything here is pretty well in use.
Okay.
If you're looking for more kind of abandoned areas, you'd want to look more on the outskirts, closer to where you enter into the city. For the most part, the city's in good shape. There are some buildings that you saw as you were kind of coming in that were still maybe a little bit burnt up, even kind of years after the invasion. There's some ruins of some older stone construction that's not that hasn't been reworked just because of it probably took an extremely long time to build it the first time. Nothing around here that kind of fits that description.
Okay.
So you want to go into find like a nice residential, more something apartmenty, and try and climb up onto the roof?
Yeah, I mean, what I want to do is I want to go up to like the top level, and I imagine. And correct me if I'm wrong, Pete, but you know, in real life, the penthouse is at the very top.
Yeah.
I imagine that's not the case here because there are windmills at the very top.
The penthouse is at the top, and then above that are the windmills. The reason why the sound of it isn't a problem is because a lot of the penthouses use the windmills' power to fuel like elaborate things and the kind of expensive equipment that basically only the rich use. Basically,
Gotcha.
they're close to the windmills, so they can use them for their art and their artifice.
Gotcha. Can we go to like? Is there a building nearby that's like nice but not super nice?
Yeah, absolutely. This is basically, that's where you are. That's the whole kind of part of the town that you're at. Is nice but not ridiculous.
So
yeah.
we're kind of walking up the stairs, I guess. I mean, there's stairs that just go up.
Indeed. As you walk into one of the buildings, you kind of wait a moment. I imagine Von Paz, you're relatively well dressed. You carry yourself with the bearing of nobility. As you kind of go in, waiting a moment until someone else is walking. They let you in. They look over your group a little bit suspiciously, but don't seem to want to, go to the trouble of stopping you and questioning you. So they just kind of let you walk in.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, start walking up the stairs.
Yeah. You reach a you get close up to the rooftop. There is up where the windmill would be. There you can see in the top floor of the building, it actually moves into an apartment, and there is no direct access from the main stairwell onto the rooftop from the it seems like you'd have to go through someone's penthouse apartment to get up to the roof.
So as we're kind of like walking up, and we get to a point where there aren't like a lot of people, I guess Vaughn like would try and talk to the rest of the guys and be like, "So,
Yes, certainly.
when we get to the top, odds are we're gonna have to go through an apartment. What's the plan? Do we want to dispatch this person?
Well,
That might be a
fewer
little
bodies,
suspicious.
fewer questions.
True, and Speck, you could work your magic and find out how often this person gets visitors as well.
Wow.
It'd be nice to have a backup area to go in the event of us getting caught or figured out.
I have taken out my chalkboard and I'm scribbling something on it.
Well, I would say that if I work my magic on one of these civilians now, then we'd have to hold off on any operations until I mean, we're waiting for the equipment to come in anyways, yes?
Correct.
Well, we've spent most of the day like touring the city, right?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's about 5 o'clock right now. Maybe now 6, finding the building and getting up there.
And I don't think we were planning on doing anything at least till tomorrow when we got some gear.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I guess I could.
I write down I can dispose of the body on the chalkboard.
Oh, God.
Good. All right, crickets.
All right, you're at a locked door. You can see there is kind of a very nicely embossed M on the door. There is a peephole, and the wood seems to be of a very fine construction. What do you do?
Be ashamed to break it down. Ghost, do you think you could
I can try and open it.
You want to try and pick?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. You take out your thieves' tools and you begin kind of working at it. The lock doesn't seem overly difficult. It's just going to be a question of how kind of quietly and how efficiently.
Sure.
you're able
Yeah.
to do it.
So what
should
do
have
you want me
invested
to?
in a no enter special?
What do you want me to roll for this, Pete?
I want you to roll me a check with your thieves' tools.
Using dexterity.
Yes.
17.
17. With nary a sound, you manipulate the pick into the lock, and then it opens, and you're able to kind of move into the room. You open the door just the slightest bit. You don't even hear really a creaking of the wood.
I look inside, carefully. Does it look like anyone's home?
In the immediate area, you don't see anyone. Make a perception check.
All right. Perception. 15.
You can hear within here some of the grinding of mills, as it looks like. I mean, this is the
It's
the
the
floor
penthouse.
above it is where the windmill is, and you can also hear the very light step of foot on what sounds like tile and like a dripping of water.
All right. I slowly close the door a little bit, just so that way it doesn't look like it's open.
Mhm.
And then I turn back to the group. Sounds like there's one person. They may have just gotten out of the shower or bath.
Wow.
Excellent.
Oh,
Quite
bad.
easy. Speck, do you need to see them, or can it be after? Sorry, Mr. Speak.
Well. I just have to be within 30 feet of him.
You don't have to see him.
When a humanoid dies within 30 feet of you, you can magically capture its shadow using your reaction. I mean, that's something that I feel like would have a,
I feel like you need to see it.
right? Otherwise, how do I know when they die?
Yeah. Or
For-
you just
to
like,
use my
ping,
reaction.
someone died.
The thump.
Yeah. Or a cough. What do you think, Pete?
When a humanoid dies within 30 feet of you, it doesn't specify that you have to see them, and I think because I feel like the reason why it's okay that you can't see them, because this seems like something that's very instinctual, and like you just feel like the life drain out and capture the essence at that time. So I'll rule that you don't, because it does not say that you have.
All right.
It also just seems cool that you wouldn't have to, and you can just know when someone dies around you in a sense.
All right, Vaughn has finished loading his hand crossbow and looks at Ghost. Would you like to do the honors, or should I?
Let's make it a group effort.
All
Just
right.
to be safe.
Very well.
Alright.
I begin to stealth forward, I guess, with Ghost. Right?
Well, hang on. Do we want pass without a trace? Because I could pass without a trace.
No.
It's also pretty well lit in the chamber.
Yeah,
Pass
so
without a trace kind of extends shadows, but
okay.
it would
sure,
look.
sure,
You would basically look like a weird dark spot in the room if you.
Well, the idea is,
All right.
is dulling the volume, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm just ready to action to shoot this guy.
So yeah, are you guys just going in?
Yeah. Let's do it. Do it to it.
Bam, bam.
I draw.
All right, stealth to you is stealth as well, Ghost.
17.
Yeah, okay. You both walk in.
I pull out
and-
2 daggers, by the way. Not that it matters.
Yeah, you ready your 2 daggers. One pause. You got your crossbows loaded.
Yeah, got both of them.
You step into the room. You move into kind of a common living room. You both kind of track Ghost. You kind of point out from where you heard the footsteps coming from,
Yep.
And you can see, kind of draped in a very nice towel. You see what looks to be a middle-aged man, kind of very well coiffed hair, looking a little bit wet still, but just kind of recently styled. And he's kind of like reaching down and picking up an apple. You've moved into the room, and he kind of turns to look in your direction. And as he kind of turns and sees you, I mean, it's already too late for him. He's kind of calling out, just, "Who in the hell do you think you?" You guys have ready actions.
Yep. Sling. I have extra attack right now, right? Yeah.
The world in which you don't kill this random rich man is unfathomable.
I'm gonna sling 2 daggers at him.
Throw away.
20 to hit.
Well, is this a round of initiative, or is this ready to action?
Oh, this is ready to actions here.
All right, so you get 1 dagger. Okay.
Oh, I only get 1 dagger. All
So
right.
one attack
All right.
away.
Well, then I take the 20, obviously, because I rolled that one first. 7 damage.
That's 7. It's pretty good.
Is he alive?
I just thought you just wanted to go. I just assume you also wanted to go at the same time.
I mean,
Are you
does
gonna
he die?
are you gonna not use your ready to action?
Is he dead?
Well, it all happens simultaneously. Is what I'm saying.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Shoot him
I
anyways.
shoot him in the face.
I mean, it was a crit
no,
anyway.
Oh, yeah.
always a crit.
It's a crit
Yeah.
anyway. Oh wait, I can never
That's the
tell.
always crit button.
Yeah, I set it to always crit for this.
Yeah, okay.
For the other one.
That's
A
a
28 is the true crit on Jeremy's
you
crossbow.
know, he is extremely dead. He was dead with the dagger, but I figured you
The
both wanted
dagger
it.
just and he goes, "Ugh," and then boom.
Just right in the throat. Right in the throat.
Yeah.
Dagger to the throat, crossbow bolt to the heart. The apple kind of rolls out of his hand onto the floor, and Speck,
Oh
you
wait,
just
I want to catch it.
you absolutely
Well,
catch
no,
it.
I mean a crit, right? So he's got the apple up to his mouth, so your thing went through the apple into his mouth.
Yeah, it's pinned there.
And
Oh.
then
Damn it.
Oh no, heart and neck.
Alright.
The apple's in the hand. There's only one bite taken out of it. It's in good shape, Vaughn. It's a very nice apple.
Take a bite of the apple.
You have.
Toss up in the air and take a
And
bite.
Speck,
excuse
you
me,
use
I
your
believe
reaction.
that's my apple. As Speck Speechly, who is now whoever this guy is,
Frederick Morstan.
Frederick.
All
right.
He was apparently a notable artisan. He designed a couple of the minor pipes projects around town. He did a lot of music work, making wind sounds. About the city of Wind and Sound, he will not be doing that ever again. Also, this is his house. Relevant information to you that you learn immediately is where the hatch to get up onto the roof is.
What about family members?
Yep, possible visitors.
Family members, bachelor. He has a couple of
A cat?
miscellaneous consorts that he's going to be expecting visiting at times in the upcoming days, but no one tonight. He had dinner plans tonight.
Oh.
How serious a relationship? Or just
not.
Bachelor.
Ah, cool.
Living the bachelor life. Oh.
I walk in, close the door.
But there will be people that show up here, and then, like I said, tomorrow he's expecting 1 and 2 days after that. But you walk in and close the door.
I walk up to the body, turn into a giant toad, and devour it.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
oh,
Just
geez.
one, just one.
Oh no! You all see crickets become a huge frog, and you reach down and eat this poor dude.
Ghost is unfazed.
That's rather handy.
I'm faced. I've seen this so many times.
Gentlemen, I need
Weird.
to start writing down the details of this man's life real quick. Hold on. Yep. All right. Dinner plans tonight? Probably won't make it. Send a letter.
Crickets.
No family in the area. Pipes projects. I need to
What
make sure that
happens
goes.
after you turn back into cricket? As you like just kind of swallow down the last leg, like the shoe sticking out. Just, very well. Take another
Crickets
crunchy
looks
bite of the
confident.
apple.
Crickets looks confident. Is that fair to say, Crickets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
As
gives you a
confident as a
confident frog look.
Yeah.
Those
And
knowing
you are
frog eyes.
you are inside this individual's apartment. You can hear the grinding of the mills, and you can see he has it kind of rigged up so there's various those compression engines that were invented by the Smitten engine are kind of throughout the space, and he has a few of them rigged. You can hear the occasional like winded flute tone in the chamber, but other than that, it's it's pretty bare, regular kind of things you'd expect in a house.
I go and find the shower or bath that he was just in.
Yeah, it is a very nice, elaborate bath.
And still, I assume, relatively moist.
Yeah, it's damp.
Okay, then I sit in there as a toad for a while and digest.
All right, just take a moment, unwind.
Speck is also going to go into the bathroom and just kind of study the face that he's wearing right now so that he can disguise self later.
Excellent. That is a very good idea. Yeah.
Well, Ghost, should we head up?
Yes.
Now, as soon as I'm done, like, noting key features and practicing a kind of relaxed sort of. No, that won't do. How about more of a? Yes. All right. Climb on up.
All right, you show them over the way to the hatch, and you move up onto the roof. The wind whips very kind of heavily up here. You're high up, and you're over by where you're over kind of by the base of the windmill from the outside. Some of the infrastructure goes down into the apartment, but there's also like an access patch into the windmill here where you can get up to the up to near where the fans are. Is it the term for the fans on the windmill? The fans, the blades? Turbines.
Blades.
Turbine. The
Turbine.
whole spinning part is it.
Yeah, is the one turbine.
Best, I'm gonna trust Jeremy on this one.
Question, Pete. I mean, it's not technically accurate, but whatever. Blades is fine. Pete, I got a question. How
Yes.
far from the smitten rail are we?
This is not one of the closest points. The closest ones would be in like the very wealthy district where the buildings are the highest. But here, if you were up on top of the windmill, you'd be off of it by maybe 40 feet.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus
good.
Christ! Why would we have done this?
Well, you said you wanted to go to. You didn't want to go up to the really high part of town.
No, it still works. It still works.
40 feet so far.
You also have.
It works at night. It works at night.
You also have a support beam that comes down into this roof.
Oh man, so I'd have to climb on the support beam to get within 30 feet of the damn rail. Oh no. Okay.
Now, Pete, which rail is it? It's the private one above this one, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the rail that you're. Yeah.
Okay. Is there like a maintenance ladder or something like that on either the turbine or the support beam?
You can get up the turbine without issue.
Okay, solid.
I'll
I
fix
will
the
climb
support
up it.
Yeah, you basically walk into the mill, you go up to the top, and there's, you're in the top of the building. You can slide out the window onto the roof without too much difficulty if you wish to do that.
I do.
All right. You do so.
How's my footing up here? How does it feel?
It's I mean, I don't know how you feel about heights, but it's
Oh, Ghost doesn't give a shit.
the footing is fine, and
All right.
it's a little bit. If you were one who was afraid of heights, it's a little like unnerving, but
Okay.
and you're pretty close when you're up on top of the windmill.
Bob's just looking up, looking at the support beam, looking at the rail, and be like, ah, damn it, I misjudged it. I thought it was a little closer. And then looking toward Ghost. Ghost, I guess this is all on you. It's a little too far. I could probably.
Oh, did you come up me?
Yeah,
with
I'm on
me
the rail.
Okay.
You're up on top of the mill now.
Oh, I was on the roof. How high is the mill?
The mill's another. The mill's another 25 on top of that, or probably 30 for a mill.
So I guess I'm just calling up to him. Like, we don't have to be that quiet here.
Yeah. The wind is gonna muffle
Wind
anything.
and sounds and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, just calling up. Ghost, it appears I've misjudged some things. It's all on you here.
That seems fine.
Well,
Which you probably don't hear because I don't yell.
Yes, I do not hear it, but I know that you heard it.
his mouth's moving.
Hopefully.
Not that you could see.
That's right, because it was a thing.
Well, so Von Potts, we gotta.
Oh, are you up here too?
Yeah, yes.
yeah,
I
he's
followed you
Oh,
up.
all right,
Do you want to come up too, Crickets? Is this around the time that Crickets emerges?
Sure.
Okay.
So I believe
yes,
we
Mr.
should.
Speakley?
believe we should start discussing our plans.
Well, Mr. Speakley, I believe the plan is, or Speechless. Oh gosh, he does not say Speakley. Mr. Speechless. I believe the plan is to use some of that acid that we could acquire from that alchemist or whatever.
Chemist.
Themselves. Sure. And we can use that to dissolve perhaps the rail itself, maybe just as support, and cause an unfortunate accident to our friends. Mr. Smith.
Yes, I'll have to check in with my eyes on the ground and see if he's moved at all
I'm
during our
not too
time.
concerned about that. I think we're not in any rush for this quite yet. We're willing to wait a few days. We can get some interesting information.
Indeed.
Pete, how high up off the roof is the top of the windmill?
How high? About 30 feet.
About 30 feet.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I
you're pretty close to the You're pretty close to the rail from where you are.
Yeah. How many d6 is that if I were to fall to the roof?
Fall to the roof, that's just 3d6. Fall to the ground, that's 19d6.
Yeah, I'm not trying to go to the ground. I'm just gonna like leap off the tower onto the roof, using slow fall, so that way I just don't take any damage because I reduce it by 35.
Yeah, you would take no damage. Pretty righteous. You all see as
Yeah, I just kind of like
down.
I kind of do like the Assassin's Creed leap of faith and then 3-point landing and I'm fine.
That's very cool.
It is very.
Yeah,
Extremely
back
useful.
down on top.
Only
So
from
what do you
short
think,
distances.
Ghost?
It should be doable. It might take a little bit, but it should be doable.
Well, at least we have a bit of a. We've got the building.
If
the
we-
room now.
If we do it in the middle of the night, which I mean, in reality is the only way that I could ever do this,
Or early morning.
or early morning,
No one will tell.
yeah, you know, it'll seem kind of natural. I think we can do it.
I'm gonna see if I can set some. Well, just go up. And I want to go over to that support beam. How thick is it?
The support beam is relatively heavy duty. It's maybe a 5-foot diameter, pretty solid.
Okay,
chunk.
cool. I want to just kind of scoot up it a bit.
It's metal, right?
Go ahead and make me athletics.
Is it,
Athletics.
it is metal, right? Or is it
Yeah, it's
something else?
metal. Yeah, you're going up it, and you begin climbing, and you think it wouldn't be too terrible.
I don't
You
want to
go-
get that far. This is just about.
Yeah, this is just a
40
test.
feet.
You go up. Yeah, it's 40 feet up from there. You go up maybe 10 feet. You're feeling pretty confident. You can also see up at the top. It goes up about 30 feet, and then it kind of splits off in a Y motion where it reaches out to kind of the two lines of the
Yeah.
track. Because they don't have room for dual support beams here. They had to do it in one. So there's also a point maybe 30 feet up where you could easily tie a rope there if you wanted to be ready. And then you just have a simple little 10-foot on a flatter ground to get up onto the actual rail if you wanted to be on top of it.
Yeah, I want to get between around 30 feet from the rail.
30 feet from the rail, so 10 feet up the support beam.
Yeah, is that where I am now?
Yeah, that's where you are.
Okay. Can I How am I is this a vertical support or is this? I thought it was coming off at an angle.
It's
Am I just arms around it bear hug, whoop whoop whoop, scooting up it or what?
it's pretty vertical, but you have a little bit of leeway in the angle.
If I
It's not
could I, for a short time, say I don't know, a minute, hold on to there with just my legs?
You would, for a minute, you'd be getting tired. You'd definitely be needing to make some checks, but you could do it. It's possible to do, I would say.
Okay. I mean, can I just take some rope and throw it around and tie myself around the support beam here?
Yeah, you could definitely set yourself up. If you wanted to set yourself up,
Yeah, I just need to set myself up here for a short duration. I want to cast a spell.
that you could absolutely do.
Okay.
So with your 20, I think if you want to bring your rope up and just climb up and make yourself a little, belaying line essentially on this, you could do that.
You were saying,
So-
Crowley?
Where the support beam attaches to the building,
Yes,
what is the material it's attaching into?
stone. the beam is metal. It's attaching into stone.
Okay.
All right. I want to cast the spell. I will draw from my my inventory a tiny iron bell and a piece of fine iron wire, and I will kind of like fold it into the shape of like a rail, and then kind of ring the bell quietly over the wire as I conjure the alarm spell.
Oh, interesting.
And I want to target the actual rail. So, as long as I retain my concentration for the next 8 hours, we will know when the rail goes back and forth here.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and the creature that I want to target is... well, I can designate creatures that won't set off the alarm, and that's everyone but Smith.
What?
I just want to know when Smitten passes on the rail.
Alarm's not a concentration. You don't need to concentrate on it.
No, it is.
It's not?
It's
No,
Well,
it's just 8
on the
hours.
it says
spell card.
concentration. It says concentration 8 hours.
I might have mistyped.
Yeah,
you
that's
definitely
probably-
can.
Oh.
Yeah, because you can use it when you go to sleep and still get a long rest.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Okay, so I don't know why I put concentration on there. It's just 8 hours.
Well, anyway.
I just ticked the concentration box.
Yeah,
like it is.
and I'll say this, like, yeah, you can pick non this
mental.
individual, and also you're pretty aware that Smitten is the only one that travels this line anyway. So if, when it shakes, it would probably be. But yeah, you set it up for that in particular, so it'll let you know when the rail, essentially
just
when the
a little
rails.
mental beep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. And then I will make my way back down, and I will inform the others that I've set this alarm, so that
Very good.
we will know. And if over the course, if we're willing to wait like 3 or 4 days, right, we can kind of get if he's got a regular routine, as long as we come back here to reset.
Well, I
this
mean,
up.
like, we can just kind of hang out here.
We can, but then
Yes.
we could be seen. That could be seen as suspicious. Not a lot of people may hang out on the roofs of buildings, especially so close to.
Well,
whatever.
we don't even have to be outside, right? Like, we could just be in the apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
This
my thought was
apartment.
like, what if someone else goes on the rail? I don't know.
But
I'm
it's
saying
his
we don't have
private
to
rail.
hang out
It's
here.
his private rail.
Yeah, what if he's got servants? I don't know. We don't have to be here. Is the thing. We can now just know without having to be.
Well, we have to stay within a mile.
Oh, was it a mile?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's still fine.
We can use this as a launching point for our base of operation.
We're in the wealthy part of the city.
I'll start writing all the various ladies that at Francisco, yes?
Yes.
Francisco, tell
It was Frederick, actually.
Frederick, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Frederick's various courtesans will be very disappointed to know that he has found the love of his life and is moving to the Iron Empire to spend the rest of his days, as he has fallen madly in love with a woman and must go.
Very well.
He will be leaving the city within a few days.
Crickets.
You should say immediately.
Well, I plan on using this disguise for various functions.
That's
So-
also useful.
Crickets has been very closely studying where the support beam attaches to the building.
Okay.
Any faults in it or anything like that?
Go ahead and make an investigation check. If you have another check you'd like to justify this as, or you have like some ability, then let me know. But I think investigation makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think investigation makes sense. I'm bad at it, but I think it's the best option.
13. The stone itself, it's not necessarily a particularly, it's not like a one solid rock or anything like that. It looks more like a lot of like gravel, kind of like a really primitive concrete almost, where it's a lot of like small rocks that have been kind of, melded together with like a mortar into something cohering one solid stone piece. So the material itself is not incredibly, solid.
Mm.
But there's like, in terms of visible weaknesses, a couple of tiny cracks here and there, but it's mostly in good shape. But the material is the material itself is probably the weakness, if anything. It's not like super solid stone.
Okay.
All right, fair enough. And
Damn it, Crowley.
I go to Vaughn, and I sort of
Yes, crickets.
pull you over to it and point down at the stone. And then I look back up at you.
It's stone.
And I sigh, and then I think for a minute, and then I finally come out with break bone, mold clay, shape stone, and I sort of gesture when I get to that line. Skin to flay.
Crickets, I haven't heard you say that particular one before. Oh, I see what you're saying. That might be easier.
Yes.
Wouldn't have to rely on the chemist then.
As long as we can do it in a way that doesn't rouse suspicion.
It's true.
Yes.
And I'm actually thinking, why not do both? We set things up to break up there and down here. There's twice as many opportunities to succeed.
You never be too careful.
All right, good. We've got a lot of good information here. Yes, crickets. Well, this obviously is going to be a few days for the chemist to get our materials. For now, what's the plan?
Well, I think we need
Excuse
to
me.
start thinking of various opportunities to go after our other two targets. With smitten out of the way, new weapons and new machinery is going to be a non-issue, but we still have to think of the privateer, Gabri, and also a pizzicato. I think that one's an interesting guy. Something that you never. It's a dangerous element.
I just
Dealing
look
with
at
the masses
I,
like that.
I look at Von Paz and I'm like, who is he?
Now, I couldn't tell you. When I was younger, he was a cousin. Fairly distant. Escaped the whole ordeal when Erdon first came to the city. And somehow has managed to get the wrong idea out of the whole thing. It's really a shame. You go through all that effort to show people the right way to live, the right way to be. And some people just don't understand.
Sounds about right.
Indeed.
I look at each of you and just sort of say, first, second, third, and then sort of give a questioning look.
I look at Von Paz and Speck Julie. I have no input on this.
Well,
Mr. Speechley, if I could offer a suggestion.
certainly.
I think in the fields of Gabri and Gabri and Alistair, both of their their deaths could be accidental. Gabri frequently deals with pirates, and so death that by the hands of a privateer, well, it's inevitable, really. Alistair, well, his own machinations are his folly. Could happen. Rahman is going to be overt. I think we should save him for last.
Fine by me. When it comes to Gabri, I'm thinking we do something just to...
Should we maybe explore the ports.
Might be good to take a look at see her ship, see how well she guards it. Go to some local tavern, see what the ruffians have to say about her. Because
Agreed.
I was thinking something along the lines of, so she frequently goes off on these voyages to transport goods, fights off pirates along the way because she has fine weapons made by the Smitten family, but, well, as far as I know, wet gunpowder is still wet gunpowder. A little bit of sabotage can go a long way.
Indeed. The difference is, we need to get
Now-
out after.
Now, hang
Well,
on.
I suppose, actually, Ghost.
Oh, getting out would be no problem.
I was going to ask, does your ghost thing work just anywhere at night?
It has to be. I have to be able to see it, and it can't be too far away.
So really, it doesn't matter if you're a quarter mile out to sea.
No, that's a little too far. Full disclosure, I can only go 60 feet. If you were actually asking me that as a
I was
player.
thinking per round. Might take
Oh,
you like
sure.
a couple minutes to get back, but
Sure, yeah.
you could just kind of blap 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 splash your way across like a rock skipping on the water.
Yes, I could.
Okay,
In theory.
what level do monks get run
Nine.
off water?
Really
9.
dumb.
9.
Maybe we deal with her in 2 levels.
Well, now you see, if we wait 2 levels, I can do like a bunch of shit. What?
I
Full
draw a
Naruto.
picture of a shark and
Oh,
point
no.
at myself.
Interesting. Then we just
Still
need to get her
hungry,
overboard.
Cricket.
Shrug.
Hmm.
Oh, when you say overboard, I then draw a picture of a boat of like similar size next to the shark, and show a bite taken out of the boat.
Oh.
Oh,
Ah,
well.
That would be quite
Well.
something.
The only issue with that is that there's no guarantee.
Hmm.
I'll be frank with you all, I'm somewhat out of my element if we deal with her at sea. It would certainly be the easiest for there being an accident, but... Do we want it to be an accident at that point, though? When do we want Venta to know that we're coming?
I feel like she already does.
Hmm. Well, I think she suspects something. She might not know.
The problem is, what was his name? Melissimo had enemies. He was a crime. It could have
Not
been
wrong.
anyone. It wasn't necessarily someone against her. The others
is
are
true.
much more pedestrian. Gabri somewhat less so.
I
We
think
just got to dig a bit of dirt.
I think the biggest issue is that they're all somewhat public figures.
Hmm.
Which, to be fair, all public figures have enemies. It just means that these enemies are a little easier to whittle down if they're all in the public's favor.
Find anyone else?
Well, let's head down to the docks. We can figure out what kind of compliment she keeps on her ship. She's used to dealing with people on other vessels. She's not used to dealing with sharks and, well, people on her own, I'd imagine.
Oh, before we go,
I wouldn't be too
Let's-
sure about that.
I'm going to search the house for absolutely anything we can use. Goods, valuables.
A lot of money.
Money.
Go
Save.
ahead and make an investigation check.
The Speck
What's your
spatially
passive-
investigation.
Can I assist? Wait, can I help? Can I help him look?
Yeah. just also want to look. Yeah.
Well,
sure.
no, I was going to use the help action to
Oh
give him
yeah,
advantage.
I mean, yeah, you can absolutely do that.
I assume
You
that
can help
Speck's
out.
investigation is far better than mine.
Kyle,
Hi!
Like that!
I want to know everything that's in this house.
the real question, Kyle, is why would you not be able to help him loot the place?
Yeah, well, you just said that.
I don't know,
like,
dude.
You had you said that like you had a secret plan in helping
No.
him.
No, that was it.
Yeah, okay.
that was it.
Just threw me off because I was like, yeah, is this like a feature?
No.
When I help
no.
someone investigate, I level up.
No.
What's your passive perception, Von Paz?
Actually, 16.
16. In watching, Speck's been going around the house now. He's been going around as this Frederick Marson fellow, and you've been noticing something that Speck you're not fully aware of, as things that are secrets you don't know. You know that you're a little bit unhealthy, is one thing that you know about Frederick. He gets, he gets cold a lot, things like that. But you, Von Paz, notice a telltale paleness about the eyes, an indication of a heavy use of breeze.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Speck,
Uh-oh.
as you're looking around, you know where the valuables, like the baseline valuables you find as jewelries, things like that could be sold for good iron. And in your investigation, you also, you also find a coffer that's kind of hidden underneath his bed. It's actually up within the mattress. In kind of like studying over his memories and his propensities for hiding, even though he was hiding it, you're able to kind of like zero in, these are the things I don't know, and you find the hole. And as you open it up, he does have within his apartment just some loose iron in places, and you end up totaling a nice round 500 iron in this individual's apartment.
Nice.
You
No
also
gold?
I will add
you
that
also
to the
find in that coffer, Speck, you're the first one to find this. You find a small bag that seems to contain a very well powdered substance. It's a light blue, as well as 157 gold pieces. And that's a round stack of gold.
Well, if you're going to buy drugs, it's got to be in gold.
Alright, I have marked those down and added them back into the total.
All right. If you've marked them down, I won't hold on to them. Not bad.
Except for
not
the-
bad. All right. So, drugs are bad. Can we agree on
Okay.
this?
I wouldn't
Nice.
necessarily say that. I think they could have some value in manipulating the common people. For example, I mean, if we could... I'm
My
already
passive
thinking-
insight is 17, just for the record.
I'm already considering our immediate option, our issue with just killing Roman is if we simply kill him. Well, he's
Oh,
dead.
and then plant. Oh,
Well, if he dies, then he's dead, and the people might see him as a martyr. He's, a man of the people. If he dies under some unfortunate circumstances, and perhaps doing incriminating activities, well,
such
maybe
as
such as
breeze.
it would not look good for him. It would be another crippling blow to her authority. And I might just be in the kind of position where I might be a little vulnerable.
Yes, the story kind
Given
of
our
writes
relation.
itself, doesn't it? The
I just need to make sure
the
that
holier
I
than
get
thou, the holier than thou leader of this city, her own husband doing drugs.
Well, Pizzicato.
Pizzicato is not, just a
Oh.
dear friend of the family friend, yeah.
Whatever.
Still.
Oh, pizzicato. Oh, I thought we were talking about.
I'm just thinking.
Never mind.
It could
Yeah.
have some value. It could have some value carousing with some of the sailors, perhaps getting us onto the ship. I wouldn't dispose of it by any means.
I just look at you.
For the purposes of everyone here, I'll let you pick deception or performance to like. You're not like saying anything, but just to hide your, that you might have any ulterior motives at all.
Vaughn is not trying to hide that he has any ulterior motives.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Vaughn is like, it's obvious that he has interest in this, but he is trying to, and this is actually the worst of my three options, which is actually no, deception would have been worse. I'm trying to convince them that like it does have value, and that giving it to Vaughn, he could use that to mess up Roman later. And that
Well, I mean, yeah, because you have the family connection.
Goal. Exactly.
But you have no idea how he feels about you now.
Do I still need to roll? I'm a long lost brother.
Well, in that case, if you're not hiding your intentions and they can tell that you have a vested interest.
I mean, like I think Vaughn, he's kind of tapping his foot a little bit, which he normally, very composed, wrapping his fingers on the end of the ball tip of his cane.
He's got the itch, eh?
And he says, "I must admit, I did partake in this a little bit when I was younger."
When was the last time?
Is that a deception?
That's
why I asked the question. That's why I asked the question. When was the last time?
When was the last time?
Pete, what's the deal with this kind of stuff in the Iron Empire?
I mean, it is contraband. You don't breeze. It basically the what do you mean? I guess my question is, what do you mean by the deal? It is frowned
that's
upon.
What I meant.
It's not
like how does Erdon see this?
Erdon doesn't have an opinion on it.
Is
but
this
it is
a tool that they use, or is this like?
It's not a tool that they use. It is a recreational thing, and maybe there have been times, but it's not something that Erdon works with. And it's not like there's word in Erdon's gospel, so to speak, that you cannot do this. But it is frowned upon by society, and for example, like an eye, you imagine that an eye would not be allowed to, because that would be like a tampering of the mind, which is very much against the eye's doctrine, because they need to be able to hear Erdon's word at all times.
Vaughn looks toward the lot of you. Regularly? It was maybe 30 years ago now. Couldn't have been more than 11 or 12 years old.
That doesn't answer my question.
Actually, 4 or 5 years.
That answered my question.
I figured I'd answer it completely.
I walk over and sort of gesture
mission,
for the breeze.
I'm still holding on to it. Crickets, what do you plan on doing?
Wait a minute.
I'm holding on to this.
Crickets, you can't just eat that. That would
I
be
agree.
I look
with
at you
Speck.
like,
I
what?
think Speck should hold on to it.
The way that you actually ingest it is you kind of boil it in water and
You
breathe
eat
it
it.
in steam.
Oh, okay. Breeze.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna go full heroin on it.
No, that's
I heard boil
it's
and
like tea.
Yeah, I heard boil. I was like, oh, heroin, eh?
yeah, not that, Jesus.
okay.
No, I'm giving you a serious look when I gesture for it, not like just a I'm crickets kind of look.
Oh no, Vaughn says that like you can't just eat it, like you can't dispose of it that way or it's bad.
I glare at you.
crickets, really.
I turn to Vaughn and I write just like on my board. I just write if we use it, and then I say, "Don't fuck up." And I'm just like giving you the most serious look you've ever seen from crickets. Almost
That sounds
annoying.
about right.
course.
I
Strong
like that
opinion.
tone of voice.
My duties to the mission first.
I take the little pouch of breeze and I give it to Crickets.
I put it in my pocket and hold on to it.
Vaughn gives you like a look, like it's kind of insulted. Like, have I ever fucked up? Like, he's a little peeved that you would. He doesn't say anything about it though. Gives you that like, I can control myself kind of thing.
And I mean, you understand this completely, Crickets, with your 17 insight. You know exactly kind of what he's saying.
We can speak just by eye signals.
Which Crickets probably has to do more than most people. So.
Yeah.
My insight is
Big on body language.
Yep.
Alright, so Pete, anything else in this apartment that would have been something of Frederick's that he would have cared about, like sheet music or various designs?
Absolutely.
Blueprints?
Jewelry, the designs and blueprints and stuff like that, for sure. It's stuff that's like not necessarily valuable, valuable to him, but not necessarily valuable to others. Those are the coin and the jewelry and the the drugs and gold and stuff that's valuable to objectively valuable. But there's other stuff in there as well. Sheet music, some early designed pipes that looks like he was like in the process of constructing and tuning. Because tuning is a big thing for the wind. You put it up once and then that's the note forever. You don't adjust it.
All right. Okay.
In that case, you guys mentioned that you're going to go down to the docks district. Would you like to do that?
Yes, I think
I make a
we're
seagull
now at
noise.
9 point.
And as Crickets makes a seagull noise, we will.
I'm not gonna try.
I.
Good job.
Well, that was pretty good.
Goal
was that?
noise. Goal noise.
Well, that was me.
In contrast to kind of many of the places that you guys have been over the sort of run of your time in the world, here the docks district is kind of the nicest part of town. Right here, adjacent to the ships, the buildings tower the highest, creating like almost an impenetrable wall that kind of surrounds the gulf here, the little inlet where the port is, and things are busy, despite all of. There's a kind of a juxtaposition in terms of, the quality of life. You can see a lot of. You can see a lot of like nobility, like sitting in restaurants and outsides and open air venues that are kind of sitting about, lounging, watching. There are a lot of balconies and such in which you can see here in the afternoon a lot of people, just sit out on their balconies and look out on the docks and discuss things. And then in vast contrary to that, there is also still the element of just, sailors and hardworking individuals that are here to, board ships and take in cargo and stuff like that. The nobility here have a very direct eye over, what their primary business is, which is trade. They're one of the only good ports that has access to, other continents. They trade, across the sea in a lot of cases. And today, for you, Speck, who's been down here, a few times, and
Oh yeah, I've also dropped the Frederick shadow, by the way.
you're just Speck right now.
Yeah, I took his keys and locked the door behind
good.
us when we left. But yeah.
Made a note. We need a better lock on that.
And I also took anything that has his handwriting on it, and I'm gonna be practicing it in my spare time.
And Speck, you who've been down here recently and have seen how kind of things are, and even for you, Vaughn, who remember the tone here, it is busier than you have seen it in quite a while. There are a lot of very large lines. You can hear a lot of people kind of shouting and bustling about. The crowd seems to consist mostly of, well, some of the less wealthy individuals here that are all kind of cluttering and gathering up around the docks. There's more ships than you usually see in the docks as well. There are a lot of ships that aren't going out right now. Usually, there's more activity. There's a lot of ships that just seem to be parked. And that's kind of the general scene. At one of these lines, you can hear an individual kind of crying out above it, trying to like draw people into the line. And he goes, "Looking right here, good honest work. We're looking for skilled, we're looking for skilled help. Former war veterans, things of that nature. If you have any proficiency with a blade, we're looking for you. Make sure you come sign up here. Pay is tripled this." And it seems, yeah, that's kind of the vibe.
I
You're a
walk up to
gentleman.
that guy.
Yeah, he's kind of crying. He goes, he looks down at you. All right, pay is. Can I help you?
I read on my board. Tell me more.
And he kind of looks over. Yeah, well, you see, the thing is, are you the fighting type? He looks down kind of at you, like diminutive bird.
I shrug.
Well, we're looking for sort of the rough and tumble, if you know what I mean, but
I
if
pull
you're
out a
interested-
dagger and just sort of stab.
I mean,
Shake the air.
you got heart, I'll tell you that. If you want to get in line, there's a lot of people recruiting right now. It seems a lot of regulars just kind of cut and run. Might be some kind of union thing. I don't know if they're frustrated with work, but the nobles around here are trying everything they can to put together a decent contingent of guards on their ships. And well, it's well, they're paying a lot right now. I think some of them are operating on a loss, but they'd rather not. They'd rather not disappoint any buyers overseas with late deliveries.
I again write on the thing. Whose ship is this for? What ship is this for?
Most of these lines are for the Barcarolles. They have most of the shipping interests here at the dock. This one in particular points at this line. But most of the families around here, the shipping families, have had a major loss. We're still trying to catch ourselves up. And he kind of points over yonder. I captained the Sea Breeze there, so if you're interested, well, it looks like you got a lot of spirit. Go and talk to Valero over there. He'll get you set up.
I do it. I go walk over.
Valero's in the process, and he kind of looks over at you. He's got kind of like a nice hood and kind of robes on, and he's got like a spectacles. He's taking down things in ledgers, and as you come up to the table, and he goes, "Yes, excuse me, I'm back of the line, please. I have a number of individuals to go through. We'll get to you in time."
Were his instructions to get in this line or to go right up to Valero?
He said you can talk to Valero.
Okay. Then I say to them, go to Valero over there. He'll get you set up.
Looks at you a little bit.
And I point
Confused.
over at the other guy.
He looks at you a little bit confused. He looks past over at the individual you were just talking to, and he just kind of. Very well. What is your name there?
Hold on, I'm gonna look up how exactly I did that the first time. Alright, it is, where are you? I gotta organize these better. Repeat after me. My name is Crickets.
And he thinks for a time, and he goes, "Crickets, then."
I nod.
All right, Crickets. Do you have a last name?
I seem struck by that, like, whoa! And I just sort of shrug.
Just Crickets. All right. And he looks at you. We're currently paying out at 10 iron per 2 day.
I nod.
He goes, the Sea Breeze will be leaving hopefully as soon as possible. So if you, the earliest expected time will be tomorrow at approximately 3 p.m. Is when we'll be setting voyage. You'll need to be here at that time or the ship will leave without you, assuming that we are ready to go at that time, but be here by then. Understood?
I nod.
Very good. Next, And he moves to the next
I
person.
I read on my board, is there a uniform?
And he looks kind of back at you, confused. Something that you can wear on the ocean. I don't know.
I know.
Something, clothes that are just good for sailing. Generally, there's a lot of ocean spray you have to deal with. I recommend head covers. The sun's going to be out quite a bit.
I write cranberries and question mark on my board.
He.
It's a very bad joke that makes
I
no
don't-
sense.
I don't
Ocean
have.
spray.
I don't have
Oh.
the foggiest
it.
notion of what it is that you're speaking about.
All right, I nod and walk away.
Yeah.
Well-
Go ahead.
Okay, well, Cricket's been doing that. Vaughn's looked at, because I mean, it's getting dark now, all right?
Yeah, it's getting late.
Vaughn looked to Speck and Ghost and said, "I'm going to go mingle a little bit with some of the sailors around here and see what information I can get. I recommend we can all do this and then meet back up. Mr. Speechley, at your place again, or at the new penthouse? What do you think?"
Well, probably back to the penthouse. Just if you want to make sure that the rail doesn't go by while we're.
I'll be
While
keeping
we're away.
a tight note.
And I believe the penthouse does have better furnishings that would suit your tastes.
Excellent. So let's split up, figure things out. It looks like Cricket's is investigating one way already. We see Cricket's over there just holding his board up to this random guy and see if we can find out anything else. And we'll meet up with the rest of you later. And Vaughn begins to stride off. He does not disguise self until he is out of sight.
All right.
Of, like, anyone that he
you
can.
hop out of sight. You find yourself in a secluded place. What do you disguise yourself as?
I want to just look like a, I don't
Kind
know,
of a
a
sailor kind of thing.
No, I want to so Pirates of the Caribbean, drunk Commodore Norrington. I want to look kind of like
okay.
a discredited, kind of like that.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah,
like
I
it.
want to look like a deserter from the Iron Empire. Like a deserter, not like admiral, but like, you know,
Yeah.
ranking a captain.
Which makes a lot of sense because the Iron Empire's navy is entirely conscripted.
Yeah,
the Iron
exactly.
Empire didn't really deal in ships.
So that's how I want to look.
All right.
Someone
yeah,
that like no one's gonna fuck with me.
you come back.
But-
You got a little bit of
Oh, I'm not coming back to them. I'm going off.
yeah. Well, you're
Yeah.
going into the docks district. I mean, you want to do stuff around
yeah.
here. Yeah. So you come back. You got that nice bit of 5 o'clock shadow. Like
Yeah.
I haven't been. You have a look like I haven't been happy in several years.
That's exactly the
Perfect.
look I'm going for.
Yeah.
And
Um,
I'm
and you walk
walking
out.
not with my normal swagger, but with like a kind of pissed off gait.
Purposeful, angry. I'm following. And where are you headed towards?
I want to. So, do we have any spending money of our own?
I mean, you have the group funds. You have
Okay, so no.
you have starting
Or
gold.
actually-
I mean, I think it's reasonable for you to have had some funds, like, just as a person in the world. You have like, you have at least like buying. Let's say you each should just have 50 iron of this is just living, getting by, and pocket change money.
Cool.
50 electrum marked down.
Yeah, Vaughn wants to go and play some games and talk to sailors and gamble a little bit and see what he can do with that. I mean, more of trying gathering information.
Yeah, I mean, you're gambling, but it's more of a.
Well, he's trying to win too.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't want to lose your money, but
He's
yeah.
pretty annoyed. He's in a bad mood.
All right. Over on one of the docks, you see one of the ships that's just kind of, stuck in port, not moving, and there's a whole bunch of people that, like, you see some people are in the process of like bringing things onto it, and they're just basically sitting in a big pile outside of the ship because it's not ready to go out because they don't have the necessary crew to man it right now. So it's stuck, and there's a lot of like basically other frustrated people gathering around. And you do find a little gambling table where there's 5 or 6 sailors that have just given up working for the day because they're not going to be able to pull out to port with the size of the crew that they have. And they have a little table that's like up on the ship. There's a little kind of like docking gangplank that leads up to it. You can look at the you look at the captain as you walk by, and he kind of sees you heading up to the ship, and he's kind of leaning outside overseeing some of that cargo. He looks at you. Looking for work?
No, I'm not looking for work. Not right now.
What can I help you with then?
Yeah, I'm pretty new in this. I'm trying to like affect a kind of drunken look thing to me, and I imagine he's not drunk at all.
This guy that you're
Vaughn.
Oh yeah, you're haven't drinking anything yet.
Yeah, so I don't know if I have to make like checks to pretend this.
But go ahead and make a performance check. I'll give you advantage because you look the part. It's not that hard to believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you look reasonably.
I'm trying to just got back into town. It's been a long time since I've really been here since the Empire came. I'm just trying to get a little get better, regain some of my lost dignity here. Who runs the big ships?
And he kind of looks back, and he goes, well, this one's mine. But of course didn't own the ship, I captain it. And it's owned by the Lady Barcarolle.
What's the ship called?
And he kind of, he looks back at it, he just goes, Damien's Anchor.
How many ships you sunk with your ship? I've sunk 5 ships.
And he looks at you kind of confused. We're a merchant vessel. We try not to sink ships when we can.
Well, who sinks ships?
And he once again...
fucking good at who sinks ships.
I don't know what you're looking for here, but I think you're coming to the wrong place. Yeah. And he kind of puts his hand up. Like, he kind of like is putting his hand and going over to like try and stabilize you a little bit almost as you're swaggering.
Yeah, I step back like, I don't need your help. You got a fighting boat? You got fighting ships? Where's the combat vessel? That's where I should be.
The Lady Gabri de Barcarolle's ship. Well, it's known around these parts for having some capable fighters on board.
What's it called?
And
find it somewhere.
It's the Wind's Wish, but it's not going to be in port for several days now. We're trying to get things settled up here before Gabri comes back. When she finds out what's happened with the manpower around here, she's going to be absolutely furious.
Yeah.
Why don't you move along, sir?
Yeah. Spit on the ground. Walk away.
All right. You step off a bit.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Well, I just want to head over to a tavern and like talk amongst some of the crew and see what their feelings are on the whole situation. And just random sailors and crewmen, and actually like gamble a little. I'm not looking to actually like. Get the general tone.
Go ahead and just make an investigation check for just like overall kind of what you're able to learn is here.
Oh boy.
7. All right, so yeah, you're leaning a little bit too into the drunk, you think, and people are kind of a little bit put off. So you're not getting quite as much as you were hoping, but the general vibe is there's a lot of people here, and a lot of the individuals that are showing up are individuals that are kind of like hurt. They're on the older side. They're kind of, some of them are old war veterans and things like that. And it being that these jobs are paying exceptionally well, so a lot of people are kind of coming out of retirement or stopping what they're doing to take advantage while this boom in, this basically vacancy is left in all of the work, which, I mean, the people around here don't seem to have a firm grasp on why that is, but you very clearly, it's obviously because Millissimo has gone down and a lot of his workers are no longer here. And the vibe is people are really excited about it, and the higher-ups, you get the vibe, are very nervous about it, because most of these ships are owned by the Barcarolles. There's a few of them that are, there's a couple that you imagine are just not affiliated with Millissimo in any way that are still sailing fine, but she's expected back in a few days, and she's going to be furious when she finds out that, well, she's lost so much manpower, and they're trying to, scramble to make sure that things are still happening while she's away.
Okay. Can I gamble?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I cheat while I gamble?
Describe the manner in which you cheat. Are you looking for dice cards?
Looking for dice, because I feel like I can affect a dice throw a little easier with a sleight of hand, or at least a little less obviously.
What's the manner of your cheating? Are you just trying to do you just have a particular way you roll, or you
Yeah, I want to try and roll them in a very specific way to get where I want.
All right.
Less random.
Rather than go through and do the whole thing, just to kind of show off your overall. Do you want to play it out?
No.
Okay. In that case, roll me just a. Do you have proficiency with dice?
No. But I
so
do
just
have sleight of hand.
So that's just for dust for luck. It's just flat d20, and then roll me a sleight of hand check.
Okay. My luck is not great. My
sleight of hand is good. With your sleight of hand, go ahead and roll me your luck with advantage. So re-roll your d20.
Advantaged luck. Hey, it went better.
Your opponent's Von Paz, you are rolling. I mean, you haven't had a lot of the things go your way, and you're intentionally kind of rolling. You're rolling sixes, but your opponents are just rolling sixes, and you
5 sixes. Oh, I got 6 sixes. Son of a.
And so you're cheating. You push as far as you thought you could, and it turns out they're just unreasonably lucky at this particular time, and you come out of this 25 iron light. You should have known when you were going against me, Jeremy, in a battle of luck.
Yeah, I guess
Use
in
luck
that
or
case, this is late in the night at this point for Vaughn. But I wants to look around and see if he sees anyone going off into some private areas to I don't know, maybe drink some tea.
I mean, there's restaurants and stuff that are open for tea.
No, not for tea. To breathe. He's looking for people who are breathing.
Oh.
Maybe that's a discreet way of saying that. He's just trying to find someone.
Shooting the breeze. No, oh no, that sounds like heroin again.
Yeah, I'd rather not lead too heavily into any heroin direction. But go ahead and
Bears.
go ahead and make a perception or investigation your pick.
Let's go with that one. It's better.
You're just looking among the crowd for anyone who looks like they might, and yeah, without too much difficulty, it's the telltale eyes. Yours have kind of, in the years that you haven't
They're
been
just
using.
kind of sunken at this point because he's
Yeah, yours don't have it, but the people that have been using more recently, they do. And so, yeah, you find someone like that, you follow them, and yeah, they're not going to necessarily use it in this exact moment. You threw me off with tea. That's actually pretty good. And it
makes
took me
sense.
till
You
now.
smell your tea and it's just cool.
Yeah. You go off and find someone, and they're not particular they're not using it right this moment, but you can tell that they are a user and they're kind of isolated at the moment.
Are they in an alley or something?
Yeah. You follow one away from the docks district. They're one of the workers here, and it looks like they're walking back towards the more outside area of the city.
Okay.
For the record, is it obvious that you are posing as an ex-Empire person? Are you in a uniform of some type?
Yeah, probably a tattered uniform.
Okay.
I imagine the image the visage that Vaughn is playing off is actually someone they know. who is absolutely not an ex-person,
Okay,
like-
but you look like a deserter.
probably.
Okay. I've been around the docks all day doing other things. Do I see him at any point?
Roll perception check. You need to roll pretty high. I'd say like this is a DC 20 to just happen to catch exactly and notice him in the.
Alright.
Yeah, you don't notice him.
Because there is a high chance that if I did see him, this man would become a target for crickets.
Yeah, you
Ghost,
don't.
You're also looking around, right?
You don't notice him.
Ghost is doing other things while you're doing all of this.
Yeah, I assume
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna come
figured.
back. We're gonna come back to you guys.
I didn't expect you to spend as much time doing this because I was trying to get to this moment specifically.
Try to.
You are here in this moment. What do you want to do?
So I'm following the guy down in the alley.
Yep.
I am invisible
Yep.
because it's nighttime. And is this guy just kind of just making his way home?
Yeah, he's just walking home.
Making his way downtown.
Yeah.
Walking
I
fast.
think Vaughn,
No
walks
faces
up
are
behind the
passing.
guy, but intentionally
But he's
makes
home.
like a sound. Like, he like kicks a rock or something on the ground.
Or the guy kind of like stops and looks behind him for a moment. He does a classic video game character sort of, must have been the
Yeah.
wind.
And
But
as
here
kind of-
here that's like very common because it's always the wind.
Yeah, and as he does so, Vaughn just, he says, just don't fuck it up, and socks him in the face.
Wait, you're just
I'm
gonna
just gonna
punch him
beat the
out?
shit out of this guy.
Go ahead and make me an unarmed strike.
Punch! I mean, it's effectively that. Alright, do I have advantage?
You have advantage because it's dark. You're in a like
Aha!
you wait until there's a nice dark
15.
spot. Roll. What's your damage?
I have one. I have my strength score is 1, so I think I do 2 damage.
You hit him for 2. He goes. You smack him in the face, and he's like, "Oh, what the?"
But wait,
Offhand,
let him-
offhand attack on my surprise round.
You're not technically a finesse weapon.
Oh yeah.
Oh, would they count as light weapon? Can I punch people twice, like with an offhand?
Yeah, you can offhand. I don't know
Okay.
if like I would call it a sneak attack necessarily. He has 3
No,
hit
no,
points.
I'm not going for a sneak attack.
But you can definitely offhand.
Offhand, punch him again.
Oh, you get him. He goes down.
Punch, punch.
He goes, "Oh, what the heck?" Poof, and he's on the street.
Vaughn like
2
looks
hits,
down, like
you hit
almost
him, he
disappointed because Vaughn like draws his blade to like stab him, but he's already on the ground. Just disappointed.
You searching his pockets.
No, just throwing my knife at him.
Wait, you're just gonna stab him?
No, I'm just gonna throw the knife down at him and kill him.
Oh yeah, you get him.
Vaughn has anger problems apparently.
Yeah, you kill him. Don't you waste about that.
Alright, I draw my knife back out and walk away. I don't search him.
Oh wow.
That was frustration over the insubordination, not the
Oh
or rather
jeez.
the tone.
Also,
Also, he's
and
kind of telling himself not to fuck up, but that's
that's fair as well. You step away from the body on the streets. Someone that very few people knew, and now will likely not know.
For the rest of his life.
Yep. And kind of huffing and puffing, and I don't know if like how Vaughn's feeling right now. Probably breathing a bit heavily.
It's cathartic release. Just feel a lot better.
This is your AA.
And
Ooh, yeah, I murdered people in alleys.
and you begin
Make my way
working,
back.
You begin working your way back to the penthouse. Meanwhile, on the docks, you guys have been doing other stuff. What do you
Back
guys have been doing?
Speechley, Ace Reporter here. Looking for the latest scoop. Now, I hear that there's a worker shortage. Would this have anything to do with the recent death of Malissimo, the crime boss?
He's pretty much like asking leading questions to a whole bunch of people. So I'm just gonna make an investigation check for information on just like how many like when did the shortage start, like pretty much stuff he already knows but would use in his next paper. Oh
Um,
God!
For the first time ever, Speck speechly, as you're walking around,
I want to use my inspiration to give Speck advantage.
Oh wait, hold on. I have inspiration. No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jeremy, it's
all
fine.
right.
all right, go again.
Oh my
God.
goodness.
Still rough, but I mean, a 14 is fine. It's just, Jesus.
I'm gonna.
You rolled a 5. That's awful.
Yeah. Right.
He always sends Rita to the docks.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh, hey guys, I'm just one of you, one of these salty characters, Huh?
Oh,
Let's have a bit of grog.
James, take your inspiration back. Keep it. Keep
Thank
it.
you.
Welcome to the Salty Spittoon. How stuff are you? I'm just one of you salty folks.
All right, you go to the. You're going around and you're talking like this to people, and with your 14, you gather. You catch one guy. Are you directly asking people about the death of Bellissimo?
A little bit. I'm asking leading questions to people, just like that, because I'm trying to make a scoop.
You're not finding much success, and people around are kind of, you're definitely creating some buzz, and people are going. You hear a lot of people saying a little bit to your chagrin, like, "Oh yeah, I read about that in the Galehaven Gazette." Yeah. But you do catch one individual, and this is probably the most interesting dude you come across in this run. Who you mentioned that information, and he kind of looks down at you, and he raises an eye a little bit, and he looks kind of upset as you bring it up, and he goes, "What do you know about the death of Bellissimo?"
Oh, it was all the rage reported on by the Iron Empire editorial, and
Yeah,
also the Galehaven Gazette.
Yeah, I heard the papers got it pretty quick.
Oh.
Why don't you watch your mouth around here, huh?
All right, sir. I hear you. I can keep these lips pretty tight. But what might you know about Bellissimo? You see, I'm a reporter, and I'm in the business of knowing things.
He kind of shake his head to the side, and you want to know a little bit more about Bellissimo, huh?
Well, I think doing a follow-up on him, something that's, the Galehaven Gazette, its story is, it had some, what seemed to be some possible holes in it, very rushed, put together. I'm thinking a more in-depth piece would be something that kind of gives me a little bit of an edge.
What do you pay for something like that?
Well, I'll start at 10 iron.
And he kind of looks to the side and he goes, 10 iron, not worth my time. And he starts to kind of walk away.
All right, sir, 15. And no, that's as much as 3 days' pay here, yes?
Yeah, 3 days pay, but I could work for 3 days and not stick my neck out.
Oh, sir, your confidentiality is 100% necessary.
Anything
I can't be giving up my journalistic integrity by selling out my sources.
I don't know you. 20.
All right, my friend. 20 iron. But I want a scoop.
And he looks, he kind of looks back. He looks back and he goes, "All right, over here." And he pulls you aside. You get to a kind of a secluded area. Yeah, I used to do some work for Bellissimo every once in a while. I never met the guy, but yeah, a lot of us around here kind of work the ships. All the rich folks around here used to pay Bellissimo, fill out their rosters a little bit with people who know how to handle themselves.
See.
Apparently, when Bellissimo was killed, it happened, well, now, basically. You can see what's the result of it. That's what's causing all this confusion here at the docks. He was in with a lot of the higher ups here in the city. Apparently, a buddy of mine was actually. He was there. He saw it. He said there was a thing that killed Malissimo, some kind of giant monkey.
A giant monkey? What? Those things aren't native to Galehaven.
That's absolutely the case. Also, I mean, it was a giant. Like, I don't know if you're fully. It was a. From what he told me, it was a 15, 20-foot tall monkey.
Wow, that'd be quite large.
Act of God, he thinks.
Hmm. Well, you'd say your friend is a believer in Uridon, the Earthbinder?
And he kind of like chuckles. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's an act of God taking down criminal scum. I understand.
All right, so, and he kind of holds his hand out.
All right. So anything? So before I give you this, let's just see. All right. So giant monkey doesn't seem very believable.
I'm telling you what he told me, and he was there.
All right. Now, and so you're saying that a lot of the families here, right? Not just not one, but multiple noble families were dealing with this Malissimo character.
Oh yeah, the Andantes, the Allegros, they're all in with him.
Andantes, Allegros. Got it. All right, here you are, sir. And I put 20 iron on the table. Pleasure doing business with you.
Thank you very much. Takes it, and he wordlessly kind of steps out and walks away.
All right. Oh, that's should be good. All right.
And anything else that you wish to do right now, Speck?
Speck Speechley's pretty much done, yeah.
All right, you work your way back. Ghost, you haven't done anything yet? What do you want to be doing this time, Ghost?
I'd probably just be walking around the docks, looking at maybe some wares that are on sale. Just kind of listening in to see if I can get any information about, whether or not her sister is in port or coming back or anything like that.
Yeah, and in the same vein, you catch that she's expected into port. She's out right now from a pretty long voyage. She's expected back in port in about 4 days, is what you gather.
Okay.
But as you are kind of looking around, you said you're like looking for shops and stuff.
Yeah.
You hear a voice speak to you once more, and it just kind of out of nowhere. You're looking around. You kind of got your information. You're feeling pretty confident. You're getting ready to head back. You don't really have anything you're looking to purchase, do you, Ghost?
Not in particular, no.
Yeah.
But I figured it was a good place to.
Yeah. No, it's been a good spot. A lot of people. You put people off a lot by just like your mannerisms, and also there's not a lot of elves in the city, so it throws people off a little bit when they speak with you. But you're able to gather that much at least, and you hear the voice.
I feel like
you.
So here's the thing with Ghost is when I'm in public and gathering information, it's kind of like a different personality switch where I speak a lot more like this. I'm not so short with my answers. I'm a lot
You're
more
this Kurt.
personable.
You can put on a face a little bit when you absolutely have to.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not necessarily spectacular. But...
Yeah, I mean, you definitely probably still have some quirks here and there, but you can do it if you need to.
Yeah.
I get you. So yeah, you are, you're going around town, and then you hear a voice in your mind speak to you, and it says, "Hey, on your right."
My head snapped to the right.
And there's not anything in particularly interesting there. It looks like a stationery shop.
I go over to it.
You look around, and he goes, "Check it out." That's what the voice says to you. Go in.
Why?
I was thinking about what you said to me, which was to leave you alone.
Who are you?
I was considering my position in that time. And what I ended up deciding was that I'm not going to. And I would very much like to see what's in here.
Who are you?
They call you Ghost now, right?
What do you mean now? I've always been Ghost.
That's right. I'm not going to call you that. Doesn't feel right. I'm not going to go with the name that, well, they gave you. Just call me Barry. So, in.
Hoping to see this character, I walk in.
All right, and you're looking around, and it's a stationery shop. There's fine inks and pens. You can see a lot of parchments. As you're looking around, I'd like you to roll me a d20.
Just roll a d20.
Yeah, just a flat d20.
15.
In kind of the way that you always feel a bit of a comfort with your yo-yo as you're looking around at all of these tools, and it looks like there's a section you're getting in particularly over to, like, the larger the larger compartments, a lot of like the cartography supplies and things like that.
Yeah.
You just feel a comfort as your hands like passing over the papers. And the voice says to you once more, "What do you think?"
I think it's just paper and ink.
You sure?
There's a long pause. Yes.
All right. We'll talk again later. And that's all he says for
I
now.
seriously hope we don't. I walk out, very frazzled a little bit. Like my face kind of sinks back into my I'm going to kill someone face, and then just I remember that I'm like doing recon and like, oh shit.
It's at this time
Put back
it's,
on the good one.
At this time it's getting to be pretty much dark.
Okay.
Do you ghost?
Yeah.
Do you do the ghost?
Yeah, I'm just gonna ghost my way back to the penthouse.
Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Crickets, what was your day at the docks like?
So, the guy that I met first was Captain of the Seabird.
Yep.
And what was his name?
You never got his name.
I
You can have got it. It was Darren.
Darren?
Yep.
Alright, and then he has, what was his first mate, Valero?
Deron. Yeah, Valero. Seems to be more of like, Ledger than first mate.
Okay. And then, how many, the things I try and find out are, a few, like, how many ships are planning on leaving the next morning?
It's all based on, it seems all of it's based on getting the necessary crew to man them. Every ship is trying to leave basically as soon as it can. There's a couple that just came in and are dropping things off, which are on their regular schedule still, not having been interrupted by the lack of crew. Like, you assume those people, like, got in and then found out, like, oh shit. Like, but, yeah, that's the general.
And how's the Sea Breeze doing in that regard?
Just
watching people that show up and that kind of stuff.
The Sea Breeze is turning a lot of individuals away, because a lot of the people that are showing up aren't, like, cut out for the work that they want, which is, hired thugs, essentially, is what they're looking for. And, the best hired thugs are kind of in hiding in a lot of ways right now. So their progress is slow. They told you they're going to leave tomorrow in the afternoon. You're getting the vibe that they're not going to meet their quota by then.
Okay, and do I see any ships that are taking on a lot of people?
There are, there's a lot of competition. There's a couple of ships over you notice in particularly the Andantes are putting a little bit of extra money even into recruiting people, and that's, you know, drawing a little bit of a larger clientele base because, you know, they're wanting to just move people out quick, and you know, like with the rates that those people are paying, they're going to be flying out of here quicker just for the draw of the work.
Okay. And so Seabreeze is
The Seabreeze is a Barcarolle ship. It's a gathering.
Barker, and these other ship that I'm seeing, or the Andantes look like they're gonna get a ship out tomorrow morning.
Yeah, they're going to get at least one or two.
But they're not necessarily getting.
They're like just spending more money to do it.
But they're not necessarily getting higher quality.
They're just getting they're getting more people, and so
They're
have
filling
like
out bodies. Like
Yeah.
they're putting names on a roster so that they can do it.
I try and find one of the ships that's doing the best, and sign up to go with it.
All right. I think it's trivial to say that you do so.
And find out the captain's name.
The captain of that particular ship, he's the one that's doing the ledger for it as you get closer. He looks up to you. The captain is an elderly woman. She kind of has long gray hair that spirals down the side. She looks over at you.
Well. You look like you got a little bit of fight in you. You're looking to sail tomorrow.
I know.
Very well. And your name?
Repeat after me.
Yep.
My name is Crickets.
She takes you down on the ledger.
Good to meet you, Crickets. I've sailed with the Kenku before. Can be very useful to have someone with your talents. I suppose you don't mind. Can you use your mimicry when called if we need it?
Yes.
Excellent news. All right.
And she kind of looks, offers her hand out in a handshake.
I shake it.
I'm Captain Pola. If you are here tomorrow morning, we'll be setting sail as early as we can. Looking forward to stepping to the seas with you.
I nod.
Very good.
Next, an old man that's like, 65, and she kind of looks over her. Not sure we're gonna be able to take you onto the crew next. That's definitely happened a lot as she's bringing people in, but you do that.
I wait for her to stop, and I am watching somewhere nearby.
Okay. The night goes on. It's this point pretty late.
When
And
does
she
she-
holds up.
Where does she go?
She just starts walking about back out of the dock district. They pack things up. She doesn't stay on the ship. She, packs things up, brings the ledger onto the ship. She's got a pretty big crew. Does some finishing work about town, and then walks off into the city.
So
Presumably.
is she alone on the ship when she's putting stuff away?
No, there's some hired hands
Okay.
and things that are helping her. She's alone when she's walking home eventually.
I follow her.
Okay.
And she looks, she's an elderly woman. She doesn't look particularly tough.
She looks tough. Not tough in the sense of like necessarily super strong, but definitely been around for a while. She carries a blade. Knows the seas for sure. Wiry, old, just kind of hardworking muscle she has. She's like older, but not old.
Right. Now, does she look on a scale of like?
With your expertise as an assassin, she looks tough in the sense that, she's a cut above the common thug, but she's not in the caliber of any of you.
Right. She's not even like Malissimo.
She can't look. Yeah, she wouldn't be of Malissimo caliber.
Right.
She would be about, maybe one of Malissimo's chiefs. But that's about it.
Okay. I scope out a situation. At some point, while following her, I turn into a giant spider and I'm sort of climbing along the walls after her.
Jesus. As you kind of
And
stalk along.
at some point, just sort of swoop down and take. I assume, given enough time, I can just sort of kill her without too much effort.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna make you play it out. I guess what I'll say is, why don't you roll me a stealth check?
As the spider?
Yeah, as the spider. And this is less about, this is just about, like, do you do this with ease and no one notices and you just take her out, or
Oh,
do
we have
you,
the same stealth check as the spider.
does it take too long and she gets enough kind of blows in that, yeah, I wasn't going to make this necessarily easy, but you do pull it off. She's surrounded in web, tied up, pulled into a dark alley, like Shelob, basically.
Hmm.
You are Shelob.
I leave her as display somewhere after she's dead, like an obvious sort of display, with like her captain's hat or whatever on her head,
Oh, Jesus.
and head back to the the penthouse.
All right. And at this time, as you all, the din of the city quiets, and you all independently make your way back to the penthouse. I think you arrive there. I imagine that. I imagine that Speck and Ghost are probably among the first two, and then a little bit later, we see Crickets and Vaughn sort of walk in from the night. You regroup. What do you guys do?
Take a break.
That's a
I agree. I think we take a rest.
You rest in and out of character. We'll be back very shortly, everyone. Stay tuned.
All right.
Welcome back, everybody. Where we last left our heroes, they had just spent some time gathering information about Gabri de Barcarolle down at the docks, and they've all regathered at their penthouse apartment, which they commandeered from a young noble earlier in the night. And with that, uh, you guys are all back in the apartment. Tell me, what would you like to do?
I write down the events of last night and hand them to Speck.
All right. Crickets, was that really necessary?
I nod. And then I write some more things down and hand them to you. I'm basically, just to explain what Crickets is trying to do, is fuck with them, create red herrings, take the trail off of the.
Yeah, I
The-
was thinking of it as a well, we'll see how it goes.
I mean, it's a bit of like cause chaos kind of thing, like,
Yeah,
but also like, oh, now the Adantes are getting hit, like, slowly sort of do things to fuck with all of them to take the trail off of specifically the. I keep forgetting the name. The Baba Rakas.
Barcarolles.
Barcaroles.
Baba Yagas.
See,
No, not the Bobby
I
Yagas.
keep like calling them the Bucciaratis because I just finished JoJo's Golden Wind, and Bucciarati is one of the main characters. Also takes place in Italy, so fantasy Italy here. It's really
Unrelated.
Pete, were there any other minor details that, like, the lot of us would have picked up throughout our day or our night of carousing around here about the Maseratis?
about the Maseratis.
No, the Baccaroles, Pete.
What about
I
the
was, I was
Bugattis?
being a troll.
I was going to say the Maseratis. They're working on motorized carts.
Holy
Yeah, don't let anyone know.
I gotta kill them, guys.
The big details, in terms of like more of just a character portrait, Gabri de Barcarolle, that's the person that they're mostly talking about because she's kind of the master of the harbor in a lot of ways. Well, not literally the harbor master, that's like, she's kind of the person on the harbor. And the vibe is a lot of people have very split opinions on her. A lot look up to her and see her as like brash and brave and like what a lot of the captains around here aspire to be, and others see her as, you know, reckless and, you know, in a lot of ways harmful, in a lot of ways like, you know, provoking challenge by being so kind of brash and battling the pirates. Although others also see it as like, no, she's just scaring them away. And one thing that everyone agrees is that she's tough in like in open fight. The vibe that you got was that like, oh yeah, no one could take Gabri de Barcarolle. The other kind of major, the other major thing that you picked up about her was that she's definitely got a temper. From what you've gathered, the people here are like very worried about her reaction when they come back, and that's like the main thing that you've learned. Is there other like like a specific type of information that you were kind of asking about when you said that, or is that what you were?
No, that's actually great.
Okay.
So Gabri doesn't come back for 4 days,
4
apparently.
days, which is actually beneficial for us.
And what's our plan for her? Do we want to make our presence known, at least to those who are in the know? Or do we want to make this look like an accident?
Well, I think
I
an
think-
accident would be.
I think for right now, we should put her on the back burner and figure that out in a few days. This is the perfect time for us to strike down at least one of the other people who we need to without her knowing, so before she gets defensive. Catch her off guard when she comes back.
I write on my board, what if we make it look like Gabri is the target? Like the primary target.
Well, if I've already disrupted various shipping lines, and Crickets, with you taking out another captain, you said that she was doing some of the best work.
For the record,
Yeah.
Crickets would have made that clear to everyone, not just Speck.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, excuse me? All right.
But yeah, no, it's possible, plausible. I might be inclined to write something about it in the paper. Do something a little bit of how would I put it? I could make it front page news. I have to think of a good title. It's got to be an eye catcher. But yeah, it's definitely something that we could work with. Right, and if we do that, and then she goes to ground, might be hard to get her out. Seems like she's a capable fighter.
What if we set a trap? We know she has a temper. Maybe we can do something to lure her. Maybe we could drop some cues here and there. She's a veritable fighter. She believes herself to be unmatched. If we could elude that... Oh, and she's a vigilante. She likes to do things herself. If we could drop some breadcrumbs here and there that might lead her to... what was his name again? What was his name again?
Smitten?
No. To Melissimo's killers.
Oh.
That might draw her to go and, well, deal with them herself. And if we're ready and waiting. It's a risk.
I write a breadcrumb trail of captains on my board.
Well, I'm not so sure about captain killing. I mean, we still want to be able to have Galehaven be collecting revenue and paying taxes to the Iron Empire when this is all through.
I agree. It's better to cow the others than to necessarily kill them. Although,
Cow, not call.
Indeed. What if we set up... You said, Mr. Speechley, that you were hearing a tale of a giant ape having killed Melissa.
Yes.
And
That's,
has that been reported in your paper or any of the others?
No, I don't believe it was not in the Galehaven Gazette, right, Pete? Or
No, didn't they say it was like an explosion or something?
The giant ape, specifically?
yeah.
The giant ape was not reported on in the Galehaven Gazette. They were talking about it being an inside job in the Galehaven Gazette.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Well, we could use the giant ape as bait if it's seen perhaps at some of the outlying windmills of the city. And we are ready and waiting for her when she comes there. And of course, she'll be looking into it herself. Maybe she'd hear of the ape and hear of it being seen there and go looking for it in search of the person who maybe, owns it or something. I'm spitballing idea.
Yes, potentially.
I mean, even in the scheme, right? We could have, you be seen literally by some of the people who live down there.
I write down, there's been a giant ape killing and a giant spider killing so far in the city.
Well, the giant spider makes it a little more challenging.
Wow.
I just put
You're
giant
positive nobody
creatures.
saw you, Crickets, yeah?
The point is, my point isn't necessarily the specifics of it, but the idea that we can lure her somewhere. We can play into her anger and use that again. Because I feel as though we'll be at a significant disadvantage at sea on a ship full of her pirate-killing crew.
True. Well, the only other thing I see is getting in with some pirates and going on a raid to one of her ships after already sabotaging her weapons to make sure that we make it from ship to ship.
I feel like
But
that
that's,
costs a lot of money.
Yeah,
A lot
that
of
would.
money and very dangerous. What
Mhm.
pirate captain is going to willingly sail toward the famed pirate slayer?
Well, now that if I write how the death of Malissimo has caused a shortage of hands in the docks, then the next time she goes out on her ship, they might feel a little bolder.
I write down, get on crew. I just write down a bulleted list. Get on crew. Blowhole in ship. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Shark.
I mean, yeah, if we wait the 4 days to get in with the crew, that's something.
I mean, no matter what, we have to wait 4 days for her to arrive back in port.
Yeah.
I think we could try both. If we aren't able to lure her out from her anger, we could maybe get in the crew. There's no reason not to try either. But I have a feeling she'll take the bait if we lay it.
But
How many days went between Malissimo and the captain killing?
this is the next day.
It was the next day? I wasn't sure if it was
Yeah,
the
this
next
is
day.
this is the next day.
Oh, this is the next day? Then when did the alarm go off, or did it not, for Jeremy?
Yeah,
It
that's a
hasn't
good
yet.
question.
Oh, this is the same. This is that night. You guys are back, but this is the day
Yes.
after Malissimo still.
Yeah.
Is what I mean by that. The
Oh,
alarm
okay,
hasn't gone
okay,
off.
okay.
It's getting past midnight. The alarm still hasn't gone.
Okay. In the day, he probably doesn't come home very frequently.
And it is around, as you guys are moving on through the night and continuing your conversations and plans, it is at around what you would call 2 in the morning that the ship finally, you finally hear the alarm, and then obviously just the telltale signs is from the top. It does shake the building a little bit as the ship rolls along the pipes. You can hear kind of like a grinding and kind of a grating of metal as it moves along the rails above, and yeah, the alarm goes off, obviously, but also it's just pretty loud from where you are in the penthouse, very close to the ship.
Okay. I'll reset it in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. You reset it now so that it'll go off in the morning, you mean?
Yeah.
All right. You do so.
Want to see if he's got like a morning and night schedule.
And do you guys want to rest for the night?
Yeah. Long rest.
All right.
Let's go.
You guys take yourself a rest, and
After
the first
4
one-
hours, I wake up.
yep, you take yourself a quick rest.
I sure do.
It's a medium rest. It's not a short rest. It's no. Sorry.
Just a fast one,
Yeah.
and then
Real fast. Standing.
you von Paz. You find yourself waking up before just about everyone but Ghost, as not that long later, at 7 o'clock in the morning, the ship comes back by again.
Okay. I note down the time. I imagine I have like a little notebook. I take those notes in.
I would have also noted it for our sake, just in case someone didn't wake up, or
Cool.
All right.
that 4 hours I kind of just spend contemplating who that voice is that I heard and yo-yoing frantically.
Yo-yoing intensifies.
Frantic yo-yo.
It's a great phrase.
Up, down.
No, I'm doing sick tricks, guys. Come on.
You catch the cradle. You split the atom.
There you
You
go,
walk the
Pete.
dog.
I yo.
Get
I know.
roll a
Alright.
hamster and or skin the gerbil in there.
Yeah. Do Buddha's Revenge.
Oh, Buddha's Revenge, that's going.
So we get into the morning.
You get to the morning, and the sun comes up. You greet the day, not in bed quite so late as last night. What do you all want to do?
So everyone, I think we need to make a decision.
What time? Wait, what time is it? When we're all up.
It's like 9.
Alright, I write on my board, yes, I have to be at the docks at 10.
What
Crickets. If
for
if you
crickets?
go on one of those ships, they're gonna.
I then
They're
write,
gonna
I
be
don't
away
think
for
it's
a while.
I don't think it's actually leaving this morning.
Yeah, we smash.
Oh.
Do you want to smash cut to crickets at the dock?
Yeah, like he goes and like the guy
Yeah.
says, "We're not leaving yet," and he comes back.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happens. All right, it's 11 o'clock.
So as we've been talking, Crickets, just to keep you up to pace, we're trying to figure out if we need to act. What our next targets could be. Obviously, we could go for Smitten, essentially whenever. It'd be better to have another day or two of time just to get a feeling for his schedule. And then we're stuck 3 more days for Gabri. Do we want to go after Pizzicato now?
We should probably do some research on Pizzicato. Figure out what
Probably
his
ask
schedule is
around.
like.
He's a preacher. He has to hold a regular mass, I assume.
Well,
Or
he's
some sort
a
of-
very good friend of the people, so it shouldn't be very hard for us to learn about him.
I guess I could look in with some of the reporters at the Gilhaven Gazette. Probably done some pieces on him.
I think it's a good idea.
I think make a history check, Speck. You've spent some time in this city, and okay, Pizzicato hasn't come across your radar all that much in the time that you've spent here. The only thing that's kind of familiar to you, because I mean the name means something to you, and you're not sure it's because of Von Paz, but you do believe that Pizzicato is a preacher at basically the largest cathedral to the Wind. There are a few like smaller churches, but this one is like the Wind Cathedral, and that is where his sermons take place. You are aware of that.
I've never stepped foot in it myself, because, of course, I'm a God-fearing man. But
You fucking better be.
Nothing to fear from the wind, Mr. Speech.
well, no, that's what I'm saying, is that the wind is not God. All right? God is the earth beneath our feet. That's what you can feel. All right? The wind? It's nothing.
Oh,
It's unknowable.
real.
It's unseeable.
But it'll huff and it'll puff, and even measly, pathetic humans will stop it.
Mm-hmm. It can stand up against the wind.
Erdon is inevitable. But regardless, we
Indeed.
need to get going. What's the plan? I'm getting a little impatient.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I write down work on Gabri or take out or begin on Pizzicato.
We can't start working on Gabri for days.
Well, we
I think
can if we're setting up.
Oh, sure. I think our time is better spent reconning our last target, so that way we have an idea for all of them.
Oh
I
yeah, I guess we
agree,
could
and-
recon.
And Mr. Speech, as you were saying, we should head to the Galehaven Gazette. I think we should pay them a visit. And maybe if we could remove the man in charge there, who was named Gregor.
Oh.
If we could remove Gregor and maybe replace him with you, obviously, and I mean no offense by this, in this wretched city, the Gazette has a little more reach than your editorial currently.
Yeah, I do report on facts. Don't
People
have
are
to tell me.
sensational.
Exactly.
It
So-
would be beneficial, I think, for us if perhaps you pulled the strings of both. And the people who work there didn't know any difference, right?
Well,
Maybe
I
Gregor
thought that'd
just-
be something I might be a little too close to actually act on. I mean, might throw some suspicion on. Wow. Then
well,
again,
given they knew
I
so
do my
quickly
best
about
to be-
Malissimo, I think we need to get an idea of what's going on there as quickly as possible. I think they're a little closer to us than we realize. They may even be aware.
It feels like they had someone in their room.
More than that. I don't know. I'm concerned. I think we need to pay them a visit. And if we can install you as a proofreader, we could say, maybe that would serve us a little better.
Wow. I'll tell you right now, it's very hard to get a set of eyes in there. I have tried to get there's spies in newsrooms all over the place. I always have to be keeping an eye out on new recruits. I vet them thoroughly to make sure that they're not working for any other paper. But you never know.
That's fair, Mr. Speechley, but you have to consider that we have a ghost.
This is true.
I'm still just yo-yoing.
Funny contraption, that.
So what are you interested in doing first? Going to the Galehaven Gazette headquarters, or would you like to go to the cathedral?
That's a good question.
I will not attend a meeting at that. I will wait for you all. I apologize. Something I can't.
All right.
Not unless it is absolutely necessary.
Oh, you're gonna have to go there eventually. Well, we could always get him at his house, but I feel like
Eventually.
He may
If
just reside
necessary.
at the cathedral, which I assume is probably likely.
Very well. In that case, you are going to be stepping and making your way across town over towards the cathedral. It is fresh daytime. The city comes to life once more. The individuals that you have been the individuals that have been by you, Speck Speechly, kind of doing the paper, and your town criers are out, and more information is starting to kind of come out, and you're hearing the criers report on it. Your reporters back at the Earth Empire editorial are doing a good job of kind of getting up new information on the story. I imagine you've also been feeding the information that you have gotten as well to them to make sure that things are out in the manner in which you want them.
Oh, of course. Well, I'm not thinking. I wasn't thinking that we'd have a daily paper, like a daily news article, would be profitable.
Oh, okay.
At this time, right? Like
Production costs are high.
is there
that's fair.
enough? Is there enough news that goes on? Like I know nowadays, being outside of a daily news cycle would seem.
That's a fair point. No, that's a very fair point. So
You have two solid stories, man.
Yeah, who breaks the spider murder?
Yeah, I feel like we should, and by we I mean you. Get a real jump on the competition.
Do you want that to be in the paper today? You
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have to,
Well,
you do that.
Yeah, no, there will be extras that are just like one sheet, right? Like,
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was picturing. Like this is today's extra.
Yeah. No, I'll do the So you got the name of the Captain Crowley?
Captain Polva, I believe, or Polna. Captain Polna.
And you get out on the spider murder definitely before the.
Thank
you
God.
get on this before the. They don't have that information over at the
we get to break
Galehaven
the
Gazette.
news story of our own murders. Like,
well, last time you tried to do that, and they did beat you.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's
Exactly.
like, at least we get to do it for once.
But the murdering, and people are like, you are seeing people like purchasing this extra sheet from your paper, and the Galehaven Gazette is not really doing quite as well as you today, it looks like. But you get your way over to the cathedral. The Cathedral of Wind is, it's grandiose. You can see that the stained glass upon it, there's a lot of like sweeping in the design. Not a lot of like the columns aren't necessarily straight. It's all very artistic in the way that it's done, and the stained glass has like big kind of swirling patterns meant to like replicate the look of wind. And high up above, you can hear the ringing of a place that you probably were hoping to avoid. in a lot of ways. Von Paz, this is where, of course, you went to church as a, this is a place where you went to church as a child, and as much as you have aligned with Erdon, some of those memories, I imagine, and I don't want to put thoughts in your head, are still pretty bitter, as you can hear the sound of the chimes up above. A big kind of open air, commissary where there's tons and tons of wind chimes. There's a massive pipe organ that comes up from underneath, and they hold kind of outdoor sermons where you can feel the wind. As well as, there's also the cathedral inside as well. You step into the cathedral. There's not currently a mass in progress, and that is the space in which you currently stand. You walk across the floor. You can see a couple of, various friars and such that are kind of walking about. One old man who's very near the door, and he looks ancient.
Now, Vaughn, you're further. You're not at the church.
Vaughn's like across the street getting like a coffee or something, just like grumbling unhappily to himself. He's tapping his foot again, which he doesn't normally do, like probably more aggressively. He's in sight.
I will also be with Von Paz, as I mentally just have a visceral reaction to seeing the church and cannot bring myself to go somewhere where Erdon is not present.
All right, Crickets, it's you and me.
The voice in your head speaks to you, Ghost, and it says, "You gonna let a vision, a superstition, prevent you from doing your job, as you would consider it?"
I'm gonna obviously just think my conversation with him, and say, and what makes you think that a disembodied voice in my head will do the same?
I'm sorry, could you speak up a little bit? I have a little bit of hard time.
Oh, sure, yeah.
There's a loud...
All right, we got the empty chair, boys. Quickly, everybody, quickly. I don't know what can we do. How can we cheat? Oh no, he's back.
Cheating!
It's extremely hot in my room, so I have my air conditioner on. I put it on over the break, but it's just...
Oh, okay, sure. Then obviously, not saying anything out loud, because I assume that I've realized that I can just think things and he hears me.
Think things and he hears me.
Yeah. I say to him, and what makes you think that a disembodied voice is any stronger an idea?
You're talking to me, aren't you?
It's more like you're talking to me, but...
Well, semantics. Go on in. There's nothing to be afraid of in there.
I will not.
Sure?
I will not.
Alright. And in that case, Crickets and Speck, the two of you, step in.
All right, Crickets, we're going to be looking for various entries, exits, and I'll be asking some questions. Just stick by me, all right?
I nod. I look around. How many thousands of entrances are there into this open-air cathedral?
Well, this isn't the open-air part of the cathedral.
Okay.
The chimes are, like, above it. It's called the Chimes, is the name of it. There's tons of, like, big, heavy chimes that you can hear even beneath inside the cathedral rattling outside. But this is also, there's, like, an indoor part, because it can't always do, in the open-air area. In this area, there's the one very large entrance. There's entrances on the side, and then there's chambers leading off into other rooms. Like, you mark them along the side walls. You kind of take in the space. The very elderly man kind of greets you as you come in. He kind of is walking with a cane, but he's wearing the garb of a friar and acolyte of the church here. And he comes up to you. "Hello! Welcome to the church. You just missed the sermon, but of course, our doors are always open."
Oh, yes, of course. You see, my name is Speck Speechley, ace reporter for the Iron Empire editorial. And I was actually looking to possibly writing a piece about a very prominent pizzicato here. I've heard he's a very beloved man.
Father Pizzicato has, he's almost gone, and I would say, of course,
He just serves the whims of the wind, as we all do, but he has garnered something you might call fame here. He, he is not here at the moment. He's been quite busy lately. I barely see him save for his evening sermons that he still performs every day. There are many people that, and again, he maybe has a bit more flash than some of the others, but if it brings people in, then who am I to question it? He had a wonderful sermon last night. He does an evening sermon every night up at the chimes. He likes people to be able to feel the wind as they commune with the spirits.
Of course. How would it ever be possible, you think, to get an interview with Father Pizzicato?
An interview, well, it's hard to nail him down these days. Like I was saying, he's been all over the place. He's a lot of the wealthier individuals, some of the nobility, have taken quite a liking to his sermons. He dines with them frequently. He spends his days about the city. So, an interview might be hard to nail down, although he does take some time to speak with well, the parishioners here after his sermons, which you might catch him tonight, if you wish.
All right. And what time would that start, sir?
And he kind of gets distracted a little bit, and he looks down at you, because you're there as well, Crickets, right?
Yep.
He looks down at you, and he kind of raises a hand out to kind of like pat you on the head. Do you allow him?
Sure.
You are blessed by the wind, little one.
I glare at him.
You were given the gift of feathers. Your kind soars among it. It is a good omen.
Your kind does not fly. You cannot take to the air, crickets.
He just looks a little bit confused. Oh, well, we all can in spirit, I guess. Anyway, you were saying? He looks back to you.
Oh, yes. No, I was just wondering. So what time does the sermon start?
The sermons start in the evening, just past sundown.
Oh, very good. You might see me again there, and your name is sir.
My name?
Yes.
You wish to know my name?
Indeed.
Just, you want to know mine.
If that's not too much trouble.
It's Gleason.
Gleason. Very nice to meet you, Friar Gleason. I will be attending tonight's sermon, possibly. Hopefully get a chance to talk to a possibly famous father. He might be even more famous after I'm through with him.
And he kind of smiles and nods. Well, that would be good for the church.
Indeed.
May he kind of says, "May the wind guide your path, both of you."
Yep. All right, crickets. And just kind of turn heel and get out of there.
All right, you turn away.
I hand the old man a stick.
He takes it, he looks at it, and he goes, "Thank you so much, little one."
I then say, "Where in the world did you get that stick?" And I walk away.
You just handed the stick to me. Bye now. Strange.
All right.
Ghosts.
Now we find a way up to the chimes, and then we
Yes.
figure out a good place for ghosts to get in and out, and we'll see how it goes. All right.
I
Ghost,
nod.
look over there through the open door. He's doing the stick thing.
Music.
Why does he do that?
Why do we do anything?
No, but in the name of Erdon.
Exactly.
Why does he do that?
Is Erdon's will.
All right.
Is it?
Everything is.
that conversation cuts out.
Yep.
This is when you guys make it to the door. Just is it?
We're looking through the open doorway from across the street at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna exit the building. I'll head over to Von Paz.
I would have
and
gotten
go-
a fruit juice while we were at the coffee shop.
You come back.
I got a black coffee.
It's kind of a fancy place because most of the areas in this part of the city are, and you come back, you see that Ghost is drinking a nice fruit juice that has a straw, a straw and an umbrella in it, because that's just how it's served.
I would have taken the umbrella out.
All right, you remove the umbrella. He is drinking from a straw, though. Or do you not?
Yes.
Did you take the straw out too, or do you use the straw?
I feel like it would be impolite for me to take the straw out.
Yeah, fair enough. You just drink it out of a straw.
Do you think that you could kill a man with that umbrella? The little tiny one.
I don't see why I couldn't.
I might be. It's a little small. But if you got them in the eye, look, they're coming.
All right, guys.
Oh,
So,
Mr. Speechley, crickets, I got you coffee.
oh, very good. I like it black.
Vaughn just kind of like moved his cup that he was about to take a sip from over towards where Speck sits down and just pulls one of the other ones toward him.
That have cream and sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I take mine and go over and to whatever service counter there is and just like pick up any sugar thing they have and just start pouring.
oh God.
All
All
right.
right.
You guys
I
are convening.
go over the info. All right, so Pizzicato's sermons are every evening, starting at sundown, or just after. And sometimes he'll stick around to talk to parishioners, but it's not always.
I stop pouring.
It could be. Oh my God!
Crickets, we can see the sugar like a mound coming out
Would
of
you like some coffee with your sugar?
I just drink it like there's nothing.
empty it into your beak.
Oh my God.
So, Mr. Speechley, you were saying he's been spending more time among the nobility.
Yes. Apparently
I think
he
that
carouses
would really
around town.
work with our breeze plan. I know it's very popular amongst them.
It would
I think
seem
that
so.
could be a really easy way to disgrace him as throwing off or really abandoning the peasantry for the debaucherous lifestyle of the nobility.
I like the plan.
To be honest, he also seems like the easiest of our two available targets.
Well, we could simply kill him, but then he'd be a martyr. He'd be the easiest to kill.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying he presents us with a prime opportunity to do so.
Certainly.
One which I
I'm
feel
saying
like
we
should
might be able to
pass
get into a one-on-one situation with him. And get one of us in there, very close, possibly. Might be possible to take him out very easy.
on. Oh, agreed. But I do think that the plan with the breeze is a good one, as it does further our goals in a better fashion, so that way people are not rallied behind the Duchess in the loss of her prime crier, if you will.
I read on my board, will the breeze be enough?
Oh, I think so.
Most likely.
I then write to bring down a hero.
Wow. Make sure that it's in the paper. Everyone will
It's
know.
also and I air quotes this, holy man, who is not supposed to have any of these desires. So, to know that he does not follow his own word would be devastating.
You always have to practice what you preach. Yeah.
We should. I right. We should hear this sermon.
I'll have to put on my best listening face, but I'm not going to listen to a word of it.
I say I will do no such thing. I will wait on a building away from the. Or wait, Pete. Are there buildings where I could get a vantage point into the chimes from the outside?
The chimes are sort of the highest point, but the design of the space is that it's kind of it's layered up onto a kind of a platform, and then there's like stairs leading up, and then there's like an open air with like a dome over the top of it. The pipe organ's like beneath it, and then so you could kind of like
Right, so
hang
what I'm
underneath
looking
it, and you'd
for-
have a good spot.
What
but
I'm looking for is like a building that's not necessarily too far away from the chimes, where I can just watch the sermon happen, but not be, listening to it.
you could. Oh well, you could be atop the cathedral.
Understanding what is being said, unfortunately, would be beneficial for poisoning
could also-
his stance.
I nod in agreement.
You could also hear it and not see it very easily by being on the roof of the chimes, because the chimes just have like a dome that covers it, so it's not like,
Sure.
you can get rained on.
All right.
Let's return to
It's
that.
also looking cloudy.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
was that, do we know if our order would be coming in today?
Part
Is
of
that
it.
what you said?
Part of it
Margaret
would be in
there?
today. I think
Yep.
the other part is in tomorrow.
You can meet up with Margaret today.
So,
Would you like to do that
Pick
right
that
now?
up quickly, Mr. Speechley and company. How is this for a game? We pick up our order, or what is available, and we head to the Gazette. Deal with what we can there, and then for the evening, return for supper. And if a good opportunity presents itself, we can move forward, and I can lure him away and deal with what needs to be.
I nod.
You
All
all
right.
can be
Agreed.
waiting in the wings in case we need to act a little more aggressively. If that does end up needing to be the case, Mr. Speechley, you can steal his form, correct?
true.
And in that case, I mean, he can do all manner of horrible things.
Yeah, but I have to do all manner of horrible things. So I will possibly take his form and denounce the wind and say Uradan is the one true god before flinging myself from the tower.
Mr.
Possibly.
Speechley, wouldn't that kill you?
What's
Oh,
your
well,
plan for
you know,
after
it might
fling
not.
yourself from the tower?
Uh-huh.
Do you have some sort of magics to help you?
Oh,
I
no,
certainly
I
do
didn't
not.
actually take feign death. Never mind.
Well, I write down. Couldn't we just fling him from the tower?
Ah, see, yes, we do the old bait and switch. I make the announcement, the wind is dead, and then I run
We're
up
a few
off
floors
screen.
down on a different balcony. So as you jump off, we catch you and throw his body off.
Yes.
I
How
look
about
at
we
you
just
all
Is
like,
that
get
doable?
him?
Pete, is
How
that
about we-
doable?
well, okay,
How
hold
about
on.
instead we get him?
Real quick, I'm picturing he's in disguise self as him.
No, he's using the shadow.
Or-
I could
well,
also just
he
disguise
could
self.
just disguise self and
Uh-huh.
kill the priest by throwing him off the top of the tower. Like he is up there in disguise self, yelling for all the world to hear, while we're holding the priest somewhere in the background, and then he backs up, and then it's like a running jump off. Except we're just throwing the guy.
Or
Yeah.
we could discredit him as part of the noble debaucherous. That seems a little bit. We'll consider both options.
Plausible?
Let's just we'll go to the meeting this evening.
Yeah.
But for now,
Yes, let's
No,
go
Margaret.
collect. Let's go collect.
to Margaret and Gazette.
Mm-hmm.
You
Fair.
Yes.
You smash cut over to Margaret.
We're
You
gonna need a lot of smash cuts to catch up on time.
indeed. So you are just in the you get to her apartment. She greets you as you come in. Good afternoon, all of you. So I have some very good news for you, actually, on a couple of different counts. Well, let's start with our business that we have immediately. And she places down in front of you the. She places down in front of you the bracers, her staff, the dagger, and the staff of the python.
Let's go.
Apparently, the bracers were not as difficult as I had anticipated that they would be. I thought the reinforcement process would take longer. And the quarterstaff was, I suspected it might be quick, but, well, I didn't want to tell you any lies, and as such, also it was easier to do, so, and she hands over 200 iron coins back to you, as promised. The job was cheaper, your money returned.
Okay. What about the staff of the woodlands?
The other piece of good news I have for you. I didn't understand exactly what it was that you were asking for, but when I described it, apparently the object that you were implying was some type of holy relic of the forests rather than something that is designed. I, of course, don't have anyone that can make one for you, but I can find someone that can procure one of these famous staves. So, I can have that for you, not today, obviously, but I can have it for you in 4 days' time.
I know. I'm asking, and then right now, how much? No, I definitely have some way of saying that. How much?
This is the bad news. The staff of the woodlands, as they call it, will not be cheap. There are not many of these. Apparently, well, regardless of the semantics, they're rare. I wouldn't be able to get it to you for less than 1,500 iron.
And gold is worth 2 iron. To her.
As it stands, yes.
I look to the others.
I mean,
Is everyone aware of what it does?
What is this? Staff of the Woodlands?
Yes.
Oh,
I
if
have
you
no
think it's
fuck-
worth the money, I'm with it 100%. I don't know what it does,
Cool,
but
those item
I'm
does.
just trusting on it. I'm sure it's great.
I mean, it's druid spells.
Yeah. Probably good.
Now, the one thing... Kyle.
Yeah.
How would you feel if I was able to pass without trace?
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Well,
yeah,
I know,
because
yeah,
I
'cause
need to
you
spend
say
2
it's
key
key
points to
points.
do that. I only have
Then,
7.
yeah. Then I should. Then we should get the staff of the woodlands.
All right.
Do we want to spend any gold on it, or do we want to spend just iron on it?
oh no, spend the gold. I mean, well, no.
Gold, I think.
How much gold do we have left?
How much do we have left?
We have 857 gold, 3150 iron. That's 1500 iron.
So here's the thing: is the chemist doesn't accept gold.
Yeah.
We still have to pay him for whatever acid we get.
We could
for
do
it.
500 gold and
The
500
acid's
iron.
super cheap though.
Doesn't
I want to
matter.
keep. I want to
like,
keep at least 500 gold.
The
I have a feeling the upper nobles when we're dealing with Barcarolle, with her herself, she's all gold.
So
like-
300 gold, 900 iron.
I'd be happy with that.
It was 1500, right? Or was it 16?
Indeed.
Yeah, it's 50.
All right, then we'll do 300 gold, which leaves us with 557 gold and 900 iron. Which
I'm
leaves us
sorry.
What?
with, the 57, yeah.
Yeah.
And that leaves us 225 or 2,250 iron. All right, I pay
Wait,
her
how is it 2,250?
900, 3150 minus 900.
Cool.
It's called math.
Oh, 31. I heard 13.
Oh god.
Oh. All right.
Okay.
Done and done.
Yep.
Jeremy, were you taking the dagger? Was that yours?
That was my hope.
Yeah.
It's
for
the
it.
kind of thing where I don't need it unless we come up against something that Like, I don't need it. Just
I
straight
mean,
up.
like,
Unless we
pretty
come up with
much-
something that does, that resists non-magical damage, which case, shit.
pretty much same. I mean, I
Okay.
don't deal.
We also have a magic.
I
deck.
have no magic spells, right? I don't have any damage dealing spells.
I don't need the dagger because I have my quarterstaff on my fist.
Oh no, that was for Von Pause.
Yeah. I think what we'll say, which I think works for me, is you have it, but we recognize that just carrying it around, that's you. But we recognize that sometimes I might need it.
Well, how much was that? That wasn't expensive. We could just ask her for another one.
I mean, can she just easily acquire another one?
Yeah, 400.
There was 350.
You sure about that?
I wrote them all down. It was 550 for the bracers, 500 for the enchanting of the
Staff.
The staff. Wand of paralysis was 1600. The staff of the python was 700, and the dagger was 350.
If it was 350, then it's 350. I would have sworn it was 4. My mistake. Good note taking. That's the kind of player note taking that that can really save you 50 iron coins. She can get you another one. The turnaround is tomorrow.
Sure, we'll just do that.
All right, we'll just do it.
Sure.
I didn't realize you had any interest in it, James.
Well, I mean, just also the fact that,
Magic
I
weapons are,
yeah, okay.
It's a good thing to have in case.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
indeed.
Indubitably.
Very good. You close that transaction. She tells you she'll see you again tomorrow, and again in 4 days' time for the Staff of the Woodlands. With that, are you guys going to the? Are you guys going to be going to the cathedral to witness the sermon tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. In that case, I think that it's 12:20 now. We probably want to call it here, but I think we end with you guys walking up the steps to the cathedral.
Okay. So we're not gonna go and deal with
Yeah.
the Gazette. We'll deal with that some other time.
Speck usually does believe that would draw too much attention to him, as he does give out his name to people on
All
the
the
regular, and is in direct competition with the Galehaven Gazette, and can only impersonate what's his name there, Gregor,
The owner?
for an hour.
I
Well,
understand.
at first, and then who knows?
You would definitely be on the suspect lists for
Exactly.
a mysterious Gregor death. That's definitely true.
Indeed, I would definitely. Questions would start to be asked of me.
Maybe not top it. You don't know, but
And
yeah.
Speck Speechley is the one who asked the questions. All right.
So that's maybe someday in the future.
But
All
I
right.
think, we'll lead into. We will lead into next time. You guys go into looks like deal with your first target, which looks like you're leaning in towards Pizzicato.
It looks like it.
Pizza
Yeah.
Cat.
Pizza cutout.
Pizza cat.
Pizza cat. Put him in the oven.
All right.
Watch him
Pizza
go.
sauce.
Hey.
So all of you, thank you very much for watching tonight. We, I think, are leading right into what I think is going to be a pretty cool. I think what is going to be
What was
a
the title this weekend? I didn't
Plans
I didn't read it.
executions.
We got it.
We executed random civilians. Good work,
No,
Crowley.
you died. 3 people died. Were executed. Actually, and really, those were executions. There was no hope for any of those individuals at any given moment. So thank you all very much for tuning in. It was a lot of fun playing with you all tonight, and I'm really excited to see where you guys go next time. That's pretty much it. Speck, Crowley, James, Kyle, and then Jeremy last, obviously. But do you guys have anything you want to shout out before we hop off here?
Not in particular.
I have my usual shout out, which
Is it Fred's Franks perchance?
it's Fred's Franks in Wakefield,
Indeed.
Massachusetts, guys. Come off of I-95 exit 40. Go around the rotary. You'll see our red truck between the hours of 10:30 and 4 o'clock. Always check the website, fredsfranks.com, and follow us on Facebook just to see whenever we're open. We try to be open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, taking Sundays off. But we're also off if there's, hazardous weather. Hazardous, I mean excessive rain, thunderstorms. No, we don't have to deal with the heat anymore. But
Typical
come get the
hazardous.
schnurble. Because I'm used to summer being 95-degree days. It's like I'm not standing in front of a 600-plus degree grill in that weather. It's just I cook up hot dogs, not heat stroke. That's how I like to think of it. Besides that, no other shout-outs from this guy. But I'm excited to actually. Oh boy, it's time to get killing again.
Time for another big kill.
Here we
next
go,
week.
killing again.
Yes. I'm excited for that as well. And Crowley, you got anything?
No.
Kyle?
I'd like to shout out the Eagles for throwing that game away.
I'm sorry, man.
Son of a bitches.
What was the
But,
What was the final?
20-24.
Oh wow, that doesn't sound like it
Oh,
was 3-0.
I guess I do have.
What's your team even doing?
Shout out the Patriots. Yeah, exactly.
Shout out Patriots
If you guys are going
47.
to shout out the Patriots, I'd like to shout out the Ravens from last week for absolutely smacking around Miami better than you guys did.
Really shout out to Miami.
Yeah, really shout out to Miami for tanking
Yeah.
real hard.
And
Good looks. I'm
Shout out to
excited for my
sports.
I'm excited for my free win later this season.
And Jeremy, could you tell the good people the other wonderful things we do here?
Of course. Yeah, we do all sorts of awesome stuff on this channel. We're really excited to keep going with this. It's getting toward that. We're getting that crescendo, that building action. I'm really excited for where this is going to go.
Oh, that's one of the noble families, probably.
Talking about where this is going to go, we have a lot of stuff going on that is reaching its grand conclusion in DnDTime. On Wednesday, we're kind of actually, well, we're going to talk about, on Wednesdays, we do DnDTime Brews, DnDTime Talks, or DnDTime Worlds. These are shows where we either create cool homebrew for 5th edition D&D, we talk about 5th edition D&D, or we do some cool world building. We're doing like a weird amalgamation of the three this Wednesday, as we're going to be popping open some boxes of miniatures, generously provided by our good friend Matty Morgs. You check him out at twitch.tv/MattyMorgs. And we're going to be taking those miniatures, and we're going to be crafting some sort of a story. Matty's going to be a guest on the stream, and we're going to be getting some stuff like some basics of this story figured out, and then on Matty's channel, we're going to be jumping over there after the show. After the show here, we're going to be jumping over to his channel, and then we're going to be taking that kind of adventure outline and coming up with some cool, more like additional character concepts and things to kind of delve into and enrich that framework that we create. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about that.
Indeed, we are.
And this is kind of like, there's going to be a little bit more collaboration in like the coming month or so. So keep an eye open.
Corporate synergy, y'all.
Corporate, yeah, that's us. Corporate synergy.
It's called network.
DnDTime.exe. Anyway, on Friday we have a huge event going on in our game, Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime. We have a legend tier boss battle. This is like the big thing for our show. These the 4 characters that are going to be participating have been playing with us for a very, very, very long time. And they have reached the highest echelon that they've just about reached the highest echelon that they can reach in Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime. So it's going to be a blast having going through that and running that special event for them. So, for more information, obviously tune in on Friday night. It's going to be exciting. But also pay attention to our notes on our weekly announcements, our schedules on our Discord server. I'll put a link in the chat if you somehow don't have it yet. And yeah, because there'll be more information. And then last but not least, next Pete, are you doing anything Tuesday?
Tuesday, actually, it should be Minecraft on Tuesday, but there might be a complication with me for that, so we'll keep you posted on that.
Yeah, so again, our schedule on Discord. And of course, next Sunday we'll be back here for more DnDTime Tales, the Black Hand.
Hopefully with more murder.
I think get a good amount of murder, not like a
I mean,
ton
we
of
got
murder.
3 murders.
No, but it's not
today.
impactful murder
I
is
see.
the problem.
Daly is
Maybe.
asking, where do you go
Flavorful.
after you graduate from D&D time? You just go into different, more dark D&D time, but you can also
Yeah.
be in D&D time still. So, like, you know, it's just D&D time still.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
And-
basically you go to D&D time spooky.
Whoa!
Yeah, you find it on the dark
Speaking
web.
of spooky,
Ugh.
actually, on all through October, so about 2 weeks from now, we're going to be starting it, is going to be our special Carnival of Souls Halloween event. It goes all through the month of October. There's going to be events every Friday. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on throughout the week related to Halloween and this whole event. It's going to be really exciting, and it's going to culminate with a really sick kind of big boss raid that we do every year traditionally on the channel. I'm very excited about it. Pete's very excited about it. It's going to be rad.
It's
So
always
make
righteous.
sure you're there. It's going to be sweet.
Every week is great in D&D time, but Halloween is like you gotta play D&D time during Halloween.
Mhm.
And I think
Oh,
that's.
I have one more shout out that I
Oh,
forgot.
please, Kyle, go ahead.
Hire Marvelo.
Yeah, hire
yes,
Marvelo.
Yeah.
I felt it in my bones. So I think that's going to wrap us up for the night. Thank you all very much for hanging out with us
Next
and watch us play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
And,
so let's just wait till next week when Marvelo busts out of cricket.
That's the time. Again, we really appreciate all the support, and you guys just joining us for some D&D tonight. So hopefully I'll see you all soon, and
Well, speaking of support real quick, thank you especially to
Oh, yes, thank you,
Burke79
Jared.
and HBomb022, both for following. We really appreciate that you liked what you saw here. And we
thank
hope
you
to see more.
both. Thank
you
you
know.
both very much.
Yeah,
Also,
thank
thank you for the host, H-Bomb.
And thank you as well to Freynor resubscribing for 19 months in a
Oh,
row.
Freynor.
Freynor, you should play with us again more. I know you're very
Indeed.
busy with your work schedule and whatnot, but whenever you get a free Friday, hop back to D&D.
Hopefully soon we'll see you on there. Yeah. So without further ado, that's gonna wrap us up for the night.
He's Pete.
Yeah.
He's Pete.
He is Pete?
Pete.
Pete. I'm it. I'm him. That's me. I'm Pete. And this is D&D Time Tales. Good night, everybody.